Okay, welcome, Ulrus. God, I've forgotten the name of Ulrus, Ulrich. Anyway, whatever the dwarven names are. Urist. It's Urist. It's Urist. There we go. So welcome, Urists, to Dwarf Fortress, the Siege Mode version. And we're going to be really ramping this up today. So we're going to go through, create a new world, but we're going to set up all of the parameters to make this an extremely difficult run, even beyond what I normally do, actually. I've been looking at the settings, and I think we can do more. So I've called it a DAStardly version of difficulty that we're going to be actually playing in this particular one. So I'll go through all these settings. If you're new to the game, don't worry. I'm going to be sort of talking about, like, don't play this level of difficulty if you're new to the game, but certainly I'll go through what everything actually is. So I think this will still work as almost a tutorial for how to get started in the actual game itself. The very first thing you should do if you do get Dwarf Fortress is to install also the free mod DFhack. So DFhack is running in the top corner here. This is just incredible. It makes the game a lot easier to play. So don't think it's like a hack sort of thing. It actually just adds so many different tools to the game. So we definitely want to be having that running. I actually don't like playing without DFhack anymore, but just because there's so many little helpful things that it does that you don't have to then worry about in the base game itself. So that makes the game a lot easier, but we're going to set the actual parameters of the game up to make it much more difficult. Hi Zilla, how you going? And Jonopolis and Zaradin, hope you guys are all doing well. So it's going to be a DasDemption game, which is going. So just see Zaradin sort of put the command in there. So DasDemption essentially just means that you can name your dwarves if you get in early enough, and if you don't, I just keep a list of the names in a file, and then just bring them out as the dwarves become available as we get new dwarves arriving at the fortress. So and it's just sort of like we just do it from the top down basically. So there's no real. There we go. Zaradin's already redeemed a custom reward. So there we go. This is only through Twitch that you can actually do a DasDemption or redeem a name, just using some of your channel points from Twitch. And of course, then if your character then dies, you are then banned for half an hour. So you are then banned from the chat for half an hour. That's the way it works. That's how DasDemption works. It gives you guys a little bit of a skin in the game. And so even if you sort of do, and I think there's like a minute cooldown between DasDemptions. I think it's something like that. Hi Miguel, how you going? So hope you're all right. Yeah, Dwarf Fortress, yay. Yes, we're going to, as I said before, we're going to actually sort of move our way through this in a, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about how things are sort of established. So let's just go and create a new world. The reason that we're no longer going to be continuing on with our existing world is because we now actually have version 53, and it's 0.02, but version 53 down in the bottom corner there is the Siege game for Dwarf Fortress, which adds a lot of new things to the way that the Dwarf Fortress is played. There is I've got one little thing that I sort of loaded in yesterday, which I want to try out just to sort of see how things work, and I'm hoping it won't interfere with Siege mode. So we'll sort of test that one out as well. If we find that it does, I'll ditch it and we'll start again. But I'll just go through the mods that I'm using. Can I go in there? Yeah, I've installed the way the words work. And so what this one does is, you can see there an overhaul that adds structure to the default language, rules to create more logically assembled names. So maintains compatibility by using the same dictionary, adds more book titles and dialogue, replaces the default entities to update their naming conventions. This should make the game a little bit more enjoyable for us to read, rather than needing to sort of be reading all these weird dwarven names. I think it's going to add a lot more of the sort of English hybrid names into what actually does happen. The trouble I have with this is that you can see the conflicts there. It conflicts with anything with vanilla underscore is actually part of the base game. So it conflicts with vanilla languages. That's fine. It's replacing those. But it also conflicts with vanilla entities. And I don't think I've had a look at the entities for vanilla, because it's just text files for a lot of these things. And I don't think there's anything that we have to worry about there. But I know that there's some new units that have come in the siege mode. And that's the one area that I'm thinking, oh, I hope that that's actually still going to be okay with this mod. But we'll see how we go. So anyway, that's the mod that we actually have installed. All right, let's just get into it. Let's just create a new world. So most people will just go and start to create the world in through here, and I'll just go through it in a real lot of depth as to what we are going to be doing ourselves. I want the game to generate a long history, so the size I'm going to keep with medium, but the history length I want to have for 300 years, and the reason for that is that over time, things actually happen to the units that actually are in the game. Like for example, you'll end up with much more criminals running around the longer you run your history. There'll be much more history itself will actually then run for a lot longer because the game actually models the whole of the world that you're playing in. And so 100 years for me is just not long enough to actually get. And so you're going to end up with more vampires, more were creatures, more sort of bad things happening in the world the longer you actually let it run. Number of civilizations. I'm not going to worry about these things because we're going to be not using this. What we're going to do is we're going to go into detailed mode and click on this one through here, where we end up having a whole lot of different parameters and there's heaps and heaps of them that we can then go and reset or set up in this particular run. So we can change all sorts of different things in the actual game itself. Now I have a way of playing where it ramps up the difficulty of the world generation an awful lot, and so I've got these different drop downs through here. So the game comes with large island, large region, medium region, small, smaller, and pocket down through there. But I've added 3 in myself that I've actually sort of been playing for years and years. I've actually just updated this. It was updated back in March, I think it was, and with a couple of more new entries that weren't in there before. And so I have actually put that into my coffee page if you guys do want to download it. That's actually, a lot of people actually do have that one downloaded. So DAS Fantasyland is not as evil as DAS Evil Island. So DAS Evil Island is like a very, very evil starting point where there's lots of evilness on the land. The DAS Fantasyland is more of a more magical, I guess, than the typical start. It's a little bit more dangerous, but not overly. But I think we've been playing DAS Evil Island for years, really. I think we'll just keep on playing it, to be honest, because this one really does ramp up the number of forgotten beasts, the number of were creatures, all those sorts of things have another big boost, as well as the actual undead. So we end up with like a lot of things actually happening in the fortress when we play it this way. We also then have in both the Fantasyland and Evil Island, I've got it set so that the underground is more open. So we end up with sort of like bigger areas underground, which we can then make use of. So if you are wanting the same drop downs that you see through here, I have just uploaded it literally a few minutes ago. So if you go to coffee.com, so coffee.com/DasTactic, I'll just show you how to find it. And if you have a bit of a scroll down, you'll see that it's got the DasTactic Dwarf Fortress World Generation. And so this has been pretty popular, actually. There's already been 1,000 of these where it says sold, but it's for free. So you basically just go into there. This is a premium version. Yep, so this is for the Steam version. And so I've just literally updated that one today. So if you do want it, that's where you get it. It's something you have to manually install because it doesn't actually... there's no way to sort of install it as a mod. You have to just replace the file. But don't worry about it. Like it is just it just adds those 3 extra starts to the actual game itself. Anyway, that's that one through there. So that's coffee.com/DasTactic, and then just look for the DasTactic Dwarf Fortress World Generation settings to get those particular settings. And you just put $0 in, and you get it there for free. Hi Tenru, how are you going? So Freezer is saying, "Hey Daz, what are you talking about here? Daz Fantasyland." I'm using that. I got these ads in Twitch are getting out of control. Yeah, sorry. It's I think if you're a subscriber, you don't get the ads. I think that's the one way around it. So anyway, that's just the way it goes. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Freezer is saying, what an absolute nonsense. I'm going to have to leave Twitch forever. It's getting beyond a joke. I don't know, like, because I watch a few things on Twitch, not a hell of a lot, but I do watch a few things, and I don't get them that often. Like, I know that they come in at the start, and every so often there's a few more. All right, so hi, Sigismundo. How you going? All right, so anyway, we're going to just use Das Evil Island. I'm not going to change anything else, so we'll just double check that the, like as I sort of scroll down through this one, there's the end year, 300. So you can have up to 10,000 years of history if you're wanting to, but 300 is fine. So we'll just go with that one through there. A lot of these things are set to default, like the embark points, for example, at 1504. I think you may have, I don't know if I tweaked that. If we go down and have a quick look at the at Medium Island, which is sort of, yeah, so that's the same. Medium Island is default is 250. This is the game defaults that we sort of see back through here. So there's a few little things, but there's a lot of stuff deeper down, like the savagery, for example. This is the minimum, maximum, and then the X variance, X and Y variance back in through there is 0, 100, 200, 200. There's going to be things, for example, like, which you don't need to know about, the poles, like north and or south. You've got oceans here, blah, blah, blah. There's all sorts of different stuff in through here. Nightmare types, bogeyman types, night troll types, 14, 14, 14. Demon types, 28. But if we go back to Evil Island, those things will then be ramped up. So these are just ramped up a little bit, anything that essentially is that needs to be ramped up in through there. But it's not even just that. What we're going to do is also just go have it in mods. What I've got is I've had to uninstall languages and entities, which I am concerned about this one. That's the civilizations. So I'm relying on this mod, the way the words work, to actually be able to at least be up to date with that one. So I'm hoping that actually is not, there's nothing that's missing out of there that's going to impact the siege mechanics. All right, let's go and create we'll just go back to detailed mode again, and we'll just go back to create world. So the words should only really be hopefully just changing and making it a bit easier for us to read things. Okay, let's go and create world. Just do that one through there. So this is incredible what this does. It actually does build like a three-dimensional world, like with minerals and all sorts of different things all running through it. It actually runs the rivers from the mountains down to the oceans. We now start to see evil areas also cropping up. We're seeing dwarven civilizations here, here, and here. So there's 3 of them that have sort of cropped up as well as goblins now appearing. We'll also should see some humans out in the plains and elves growing in through here. So elves have taken this western forest, so they're sort of building up through there. Dwarves are doing fairly well in the early part. We're up to year 150 already. And so we'll start to sort of see there's like zombie dragons. Okay, that's interesting. So this one is, as I said before, extremely evil. And so we end up with zombie creatures, etc. as well, like they'll come back to life. We're seeing different fortresses down through there. We should see different towers as well with necromancers. But we'll have a look at this at the end of it. There's also more volcanoes. So I'm not sure what we'll do with this. So Shizma was saying, just picked up those world gen settings. Thanks a bunch. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, just go and grab them. For me, they make this. I love this start because it's just so damn evil. It's so difficult. Well, it can be difficult depending on what you have. And it also makes the world more cohesive. There's less islands when it actually is generated, and that's the same with Fantasyland as well. You don't want islands, really, because if you end up with 2 land masses and you have civilizations on one land mass, they can't really interact with the main or with the other land mass. So getting rid of those is actually important. We're already up to the year 230. You can see that we're in the Age of Myth. The Age of Myth actually is, those ages are very, very important, and quite often by this stage we'll be in the Age of Legend or the Age of Heroes, but we never get out of the Age of Myth when we're playing one of these Fantasyland or Evil Island starts. And the reason for that is that the Age of Myth is the age of the mythical beasts. And I've got so many of them in this map that, and they're all randomly generated, but there's so many of them. We don't know, like there's never few enough of them to really break out of the Age of Myth. So we stay in that age for the whole time that we're playing the game, essentially, which makes it a more aggressive and difficult game. So when there's a certain number of mythical beasts that have been killed and then civilizations start to rise, we end up with going into the next age, which I think is the Age of Legend. And then from there you then end up with the civilizations really taking hold, which is the Age of Heroes. If there's like there's zombie dragon again. So we're seeing a zombie dragon a lot featuring, which must be sort of going off and destroying locations. Zombie creatures in the game are 3 times more difficult than anything else, essentially. Now, what I tend to like to do at this point, I've now got the keep the world and return to the main menu. I often do a save of the actual world at this point, so I might just go and do that. So I'm just now saving the world, and then we'll sort of get into it. So Mike Gillespie saying, so happy to see Daz playing a new DF run. Find it hard to engage with a long-running series, so happy to get in on the ground floor. Yeah, I love the start of these games. I mean, it's because it's so difficult, we can get destroyed before we even get started. But anyway, that's part of the fun. So Klingler's saying, gosh, it's Friday. It is for me, but it's actually, I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow. I thought I'd do it back-to-back run of Dwarf Fortress to try to get some of this, see if we can get some early siege action actually happening. Right, so I'm just going to go back out. I'm going to quit quick. Actually, I don't even need to do that, I don't think. What I can do is just Alt-Tab myself out of this. Go to the File Explorer, go to my Steam page. So I'm just going to take a copy of that particular, of what we've just done there. So Steam Apps, Common, Dwarf. So you don't have to worry about this, but I just like to have a version of it. So we go to Saves, and we should then have, actually that's not there, that's Region 1. That's funny, it's not actually showing up with what we have. That should be there. That's strange. I'm not sure why the world is not actually part of inside that save area. That's strange. That is strange, actually. There should be a region 2, but it's not there. Just double check. Yeah, that's old. That is old. Although that's the events log is there. Yeah, that's not sure what's happened there. Anyway, we'll just go back and start. Well, I'll go and go back to Dwarf Fortress. Maybe I'll just quit for 1 second and just see if I can actually find it this way. Go on, game, quit. Allow me to quit, and we'll just try that again. That way I can get the Legends mode out and stuff like that if I need to. So it just gives me a little bit more flexibility. I don't think it would be anywhere else. Common, Dwarf Fortress, that's where the games are saved for Dwarf Fortress. No, it's just not there. Current, yeah, that's old. That's old. All right, let's go back to it, and I'm not sure where it's actually, why it's not saving there. We'll go back into Dwarf Fortress and get started again. So we'll just get started on the actual world itself, and go from there. So we're going to actually start a new game in an existing world. So we've now created the world. So the world has been created, and I don't think I'll worry too much about where I start. So I've got like the, this is the first of granite in the early spring of 300. This is the Land of Man. It's Region 4. These folders, Region 2, Region 3. There we are, there we are. Oh, it's in App Data under Dwarf Fortress in there. Okay, this is actually where the new save is. So I'm just going to go and do the way I like to do this is just to take a zip of the file, and so I tend to either take a 7-zip or just a zip of the actual file itself. So it's just going to take a little bit of time just to, for whatever reason, I should have probably restarted my computer, but it is a bit slow with my right clicks on different things. So we'll just go and save this one up. Here we go. So I'm just going to do 7-zip and compress to region 4 7Z. So we'll just go and zip that one up. That way I've just got a copy of it ready to go if I need to unlock it. I can then sort of just bring it out as whatever I need. So anyway, that's just been done. I'll just go back. And we'll get started. So let's just get started in here. So it's now loading back in the world that we just created. And from here we can then pick Fortress mode, Adventure mode, or Legends mode to sort of have a bit of a look. If we go into Legends mode, we could then try to find, for example, that zombie dragon. So if I go to historical figures and go to Quimar, is it? Yeah, there's a female Hydra there. Male dragon. That's not the one. I forget what the name of it was. Oh, there we go. There it is, right there. So Quimar Pukridi. So this is Quimar Tolkindled, the Silken Lock, a zombie dragon. And so if you have a look at this particular one, this is actually its history of everything it's actually done. It's been attacking different dwarven civilizations, struck down goblins. So there's been different attacks that it's actually been doing across the elves have taken a beating from it. So this zombie dragon is everywhere. And this is its kill count. 138 other kills. It's actually killed. Was there a queen there? I thought there was a queen that I saw in that list. Maybe not. Anyway, these are all the various entities. 86 notable kills. This is you have different things that it's actually an enemy of. So we got all this stuff. You know, we may find this dragon, for example. So Quimar, I saw that name come up when I was when we were generating the world. Anyway, that's the Legends mode. We're not going to be playing that one. Just going to click on Done. We're going to play Fortress mode. So it runs forward for 2 weeks. And just if you're restarting like the dungeon, not at the start, the first part of it is in spring. So now we have to then choose our start. Now we do actually have actually, where's the difficulty? I forget where the difficulty actually is in the game itself. I think we do that after we get started. So I'll do that one soonish. Actually, we'll have a bit of a look and see. So one thing we want to do is just have a look at our civilizations. There's 3 dwarven civilizations up in through here. Just want to make sure that we actually have like a good enough civilization before we get started. So choose origin civilization. We don't want to have just 40 dwarves. So there's like one civilization which has been largely destroyed by something. Back up in through here. We're looking for, and there's all that's left is this one fortress with 40 dwarves in it. So that's the Bejeweled Treasures is a group of dwarves. The Spire of Wealth is back over here, much more healthy, and so we end up with 2,500 dwarves there with 30 sites. Actually, what did they have? They had 0 sites. They've actually lost everything, so these are just like a wandering group of dwarves. And then we have the Aquamarine Bastion back into here with only 470 dwarves running through this side, so they've actually also taken a bit of a beating with only 11 sites. So really the Spire of Wealth is where we probably want to come from. That will then give us the, we've got a king, so we've got Castaz Rock Bolted back over in this other location. So we could sort of use this as a starting point. We definitely don't want to be using this one here. We're not going to get any real dwarves coming in and joining us. This one here with 470 is not really enough. There's goblins in through here, so there's obviously been some sort of war that's been happening back into this other side. I think we'll just go to the 2,500. Even that's actually a really low number of dwarves on the actual map itself. It's almost worth restarting again with what's happening in through there. There's a few zombie towers, undead towers back in around here. There's a lot of undead happening. Let's just go back in and find an embark. Actually, not find the embark location. We'll just start to just have a look. There's things like where you can actually go and search for the ideal location. I don't like min-maxing. I just tend to find a location I think is going to be fun and then just go from that one through there. One thing I do want to be having a look at though is you'll see that we've got like if I click under where the mouse is, we've got elves, humans, and goblins are the neighbours, which are there's hundreds of elves. There's 4,000 humans, and there's 1,000 goblins. So not that many goblins in really around through here. They're hostile, but it doesn't mean we're at war with them. So they're not really going to be doing much. And you can see there that we get over 100 there, 1,000. If we back over through here, 1,000. There's not that many goblins actually. We are going to be wanting goblins. Definitely be wanting goblins for the. There's 30,000 goblins down this way. So there's more goblins in the south here. Let's have a look and see if we can find any more. 40,000 back over this way, which isn't too bad. There's lots of goblins in here. 20 and 30,000 back in around this around this area. Hi Began, how you going? And Draven, I hope everyone's doing well. So Began's redeemed at 1 as well. So we've got 2 dwarves that have now been named. So just looking at this one through here, they're just hostile, which means that they're not at war. They're just negative against us. So there's going to be different populations in through there. We've got 30,000 up this way, with we do actually have like a volcano there, and on the actual volcano itself, the volcano is right there. That's terrifying, which is too difficult. We want haunted. So terrifying locations spawn really dangerous units, and so that's actually too difficult. These are all goblin pits and stuff like this in around us. What's this one down through here? This is haunted. Haunted is actually is much more accessible to us. And we can see there we've got shallow sand, very deep soil, light aquifer, iron, silver, copper, tin, lead, fluxstone layer. That's actually pretty good. We've got 30,000 goblins around us, which is good, because we do want to be testing the siege mechanic. Haunted is going to then make this a much more difficult location, but not to the same degree as terrifying. Terrifying is sort of like, if I go back out through here, you've got untamed wilds, which are sort of spawn like giant creatures. These spawn giant crazy creatures, essentially, which means that we're going to have to hide the whole time. Whereas if we just go into a haunted location, we get normal sized creatures, but it can be a reanimating location. I'm not going to worry about whether it is or isn't in this run. Normally I sort of just try to always make sure that I get a reanimating zone. Klingzog has redeemed 1 as well. That's three of our dwarves have now been acquired already. I'm thinking this little location in here is fine. The fact that we've got so much, we've got a light aquifer as well. That doesn't worry me at all. That's really not a problem, a light aquifer. I'll see if I can find a deep aquifer, because that's something we do want to avoid. If I sort of zoom across, what's that there? That's a mysterious lair, pit skunks. Actually, one thing we don't actually have is a zombie tower, because they can also besiege what we do. Let's just go and right click. If I go up into around here somewhere, you'll see there should be a zombie tower. It's got humans, goblins. That's funny, it's not actually showing those elves. Yeah, no, there's not really, it's not actually showing what they've got. I thought those towers would show up. Oh, there we go, up the top there. Yeah, the Dwarven Tower there. So this is actually a zombie tower in this other location. Again, on this evil island, we generally get a lot of those. Where did I start? Where was I looking just before? Was it up? It was up around here, I think. Yeah, that's it. So I'm actually happy with this. If we have a bit of a look, this is the Bloody Prairie. And so it's a temperate shrubland. Its temperature is cold. It's a woodland area, so there is a forest there, but it's not a heavy forest. Back over here in this in the disloyal final forest, this is actually a terrifying forest, which is heavily forested. So this is actually more lightly forested. Back out of this haunted biome, this is a haunted area. We end up sort of having the other vegetation of moderate. We've got shallow sand. We've got very deep soil. So we're going to have good mining. Thanks, Adrian, there for redeeming another character as well. So it's now 4 of our dwarves have now been allocated, or can be allocated. So in this case, we've got like 30,000 goblins nearby. They are hostile, but we're not at war. We're going to sort of change that as we get into it. This one we've got iron, silver, copper, tin, and lead. We don't actually have things like platinum or anything like that. We don't have gold either, which is, as I sort of zoom around, there's no gold in through that side. That doesn't really matter. We've got silver, so we can do things out of silver. The thing with gold is it can really improve your value of things. Like you can actually sort of do things with the gold. But I just quite like this idea of where we are here. Where's another haunted area? This one is terrifying down through here. Sometimes you'll end up with little pockets. That one's got gold, silver, copper, tin. Let's just go back up the top there and play on that river. So we can sort of go onto the actual river through here, or we can go even off the river. I think I might go off the river a little bit, and so we'll actually go and do the embark in around here somewhere. Maybe we'll have the river run through the northern edge of what we're actually trying to do through here. So Chris is saying, a quick question. I bought this on sale, however I keep on bouncing off it. I mean, it must be me due to the overwhelming positive reviews. Any tips for a newbie to this? Yeah, just have fun with it. It's one of these games where failure is the fun. And so the way that you fail, and even if we fail, we can go back in. In fact, I'll show you actually another way of playing the game. If we go back in, actually there's nothing there. It looks like there's no, we should actually have a way to embark. No, it's not actually showing it there. I'll just go back out again. Yeah, reclaim and unretire. Even if you fail, you can go back in and reclaim what you've done. So if we go and have a look at the reclaim, unretire, there's all these different things here that have been sort of destroyed. So I could, if I wanted to, go back into one of these locations where the dwarven, where there's actually ruins, where things have actually happened. So if we go back in and have a look at this one here, for example, this one was in the midwinter of 240. The Confederation of Dawn defeated the armed runes and pillaged Craft Brew. So Craft Brew is a ruin we could go back in and pick up right there. The next one here is in the early autumn of 20, the rock Hob Moth Rightful, the basin of chanting routed the hall of dabbling. So this one is, where is that? Oh, up the top there. So that one there is actually a ruin. These are all different ruins that are available to us. 189, the Forgotten Beast, Osman Soil Insect, the Lord of Raining, routed the Peak of Tin. So these are stuff we can go back into. If your fort fails, you can actually go back in and reclaim it and just keep on going with a new set of dwarves, which is a fun way to play the game. We'll be doing that today if that happens to us. So we'll just keep on sort of going back in, but I don't think we'll reclaim a ruin right from the start. This is the Bejeweled Treasures, defeated those and pillaged it. It's got to be pillaged, essentially. The dragon, Gug Silviorn, routed that particular one. This one here was, I'm looking for see if that undead dragon destroyed any of these. So these are all old dwarven, spots where you can go back in and reclaim them. So it looks like the Bejeweled Treasures was like, it sounds like a elvish group that may have sort of been attacking. We've got another one down over through here, which is actually, looks like it's in a bit of a haunted area, maybe. The Crystalline Forks, and then we've got this one down through here, the Stony Shadows. These are all going to be entities of either goblins or humans or elves, essentially, that have now taken over these particular locations. But we won't bother reclaiming. We'll just go back and go back to our embark location, which was over here. So we'll just go back into here and embark from in this location, just in here somewhere, just with the haunted shrubland. So we'll just go into that one. Select an area with a light aquifer. Water might need to be pumped out or carried away. That's not a problem. You've selected an evil area. That's okay as well, because that's what we want to do. So we'll just go into it. So Klingsor was sort of saying, I found it a lot of fun to start next to the ocean and on a river. It was super easy to get food and also shells for making crafts. There are two large things to struggle with. Being on the ocean also help with defense. The ocean you've got to be a bit careful of because of salt water. So if you end up with brackish water, you can't actually make good use of that. So just be careful of an ocean edge start. But we'll just start in here and really just have, like I always, because I'm playing in a haunted area, I don't know if it's going to be a reanimating biome. We'll get some clues about that at the start and then we'll sort of figure out what to do. So I'm just going to go in and confirm that particular start. Now, with the prepare carefully, I've already got like a grouping that I'm going to be using, which is basic military. This one gives me 3 military dwarves. This is one that I did create. So I saved these. These are starts that I've created myself. There is. Here we go. Now this is actually this is the difficulty, and you'll see it's got custom because I've customized the difficulty. Let me show you what this is. If I go into custom settings, I can actually reload these in. This is actually what we are going to be really focusing on a lot today, is how this one does work. If I just go back into the custom settings and load those settings in and click on done, you'll see that the enemies are on custom mode, but the economy is just going to be on normal mode. I'm going to keep the economy easy, or easy-ish, but the enemies on a much harder mode than hard. So if you've got the 3 basic ones, like if I go in, and I'll show you what I mean, like if I go into normal and click on normal and go to custom settings, we have different things like the population triggers before we get attacked. So you need to have like 20 dwarves when you're playing on normal mode before you get a low level attack coming in. So if we go back out again, just click on done and go to hard mode and have a look at the custom settings. It goes from 20 to 15, for example, and then sort of ramps down. So these are all the levels of attack that you're going to be getting. So from 15 to 70, these are dwarves that you have. You've also then got your production that you actually need to, how valuable your fort actually is with what you've created. It's also then got settings for trading, like when you actually trade. So it's going to be enemy trade to trigger. So this is the enemy coming when you've actually traded that amount. So thanks Exec for redeeming yet another one. So freeze Aaron, didn't you redeem one before? No, that was Aradin. That's okay. Yep, no, I've got them all there. That's cool. We're getting close to our 7 dwarves. And so we've got different things, for example, like the attack period between seasons for mega beasts, like forgotten beasts. The sensitivity is like when they're going to ramp up to the point where they start to notice your fortress. So these are all difficulty settings you can sort of see down through here. Even things like, for example, then this is the hard mode. The hard mode of the vampire migrant fraction. So 75% is I think it's a 1 in 75 that a dwarf that arrives at your fortress will be a vampire when you're playing in hard mode. But if I go and load in the save settings, I'm just going to go and do that now. You'll see that I've actually got this one down to 1 in 45. I've shortened all of this, so I've made everything much harder. And we can get by without an invasion with all the dwarves we start with. But as soon as we get one more extra dwarf, we are up for invasion. So I wanted to make this one really hard. So I've gone and saved these settings again. This is through DF hack. And I've set this one, it's on to apply these settings for any new embark that we do. And so this is now my default difficulty is to go extreme difficulty here. So well beyond the just hard. So this is this really shortens the difficulty. What I've tried to do is actually get a much earlier trigger for sieges and for attacks. Also, what I've done is I've actually ramped down the where is it? Where is it? There's something else that can happen. You've also now got new things, for example, like invaders can break constructed walls, invaders can dig natural walls, can build floors and stairs, and can free creatures from cages. You can turn these things off if you don't want certain things on for your own fortress. But this is new things that have come into the siege mode. They've got invader digging speed, for example, smaller equals slower. That's 100. I wonder if that's too fast. And deconstruction speed as well. This just means at normal speed. Let's just see how we go. Invader vertical digger aversion, so smaller equals more digging. So this will then sort of, the smaller the number there, the more likely they are to go dig down. So this has actually now really changed an awful lot. So I've just tweaked all this stuff to end up with a more difficult start. So the invasions should come quicker. There's also a difference between sieges. Yeah, here we go. So we've got minimum raids before the first siege. There's things called ambushes, which is sort of like a pre-siege attack. And even on hard, this is 2, and so I've changed that to 1. And then the minimum raids between sieges per civilization is 1. So, and then the siege frequency, I've also made it so more likely to end up with a full-blown siege. So let's just go. So that's essentially what I've done with those difficulty settings. So these, I can't save these out. Otherwise, I'd put these also in the coffee.com page. But I can't actually save these. I've just gone in and made these a lot more difficult than the defaults. So anyway, that's what we're going to be having. Crunch is saying, name a dwarf Crunch. You need to redeem the points. So there's actually a DasDemption points system, and that's how you then get your dwarves. I've done a prepare carefully and then called it military. So I've actually got like 3 military dwarves. If I just go and click on that one through there, you'll see that some of the stuff that we had available, that we actually had gone for, is not available to us. So we don't have pecan wood actually, did we choose the right... I think we did choose the right entity, didn't we? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. So, yeah, so just redeemed. I think what you'll find is, Crunch, if you are sort of interested, you'll be able to eventually get the, I think there's a minute between the DasDemptions. So I think there's a bit of a cooldown, or 30 seconds or something like that. So we don't have anything made out of pecan wood, so buckets, splints and crutches. And we don't actually have any backpacks, and we don't have some of the food. So we'll just go and press, just right click. And so we end up with, these will just be named when we start off, whatever the list of them is, will be how we name them. So whoever's redeemed the names will then come from the top. We start off with one miner, one woodworker, one farmer, actually a second miner in through there, which is not really, like this one's proficient at mining. This one through here, if we have a look at skills, is only competent, but does have a few other skills. Then we have the 3 peasants. The 3 peasants are actually all the military. If we look at the skills, they're not really good at anything else in through here, but combat-wise, they do actually have some abilities in through here, like a mace dwarf. They've got the adequate shield user, armor user. So these are going to be our initial military, these 3 peasants that we actually have in through this other side. As far as items are concerned, what did we miss out on? We missed out on backpacks, I think it was. So we've got, so we'll go back into, this is leather. We've got the weapons. We're going with 2 battle axes, a copper mace, a copper spear, and a copper warhammer. So we've got those different things in through there. 2 copper picks. We're only going to be having copper at the start. So 3 mail shirts, helms, gauntlets, high boots, greaves, and shields. So they're sort of ready to go. Let's go down to the, so we needed backpacks. Now, where are they? Backpacks. So these are, I'm just wanting to get cheap. So we've got giant Wolverine leather backpacks. So let's just go and grab, it doesn't matter what they actually are. So we'll just go and grab 3 of those. These are required for the military. Now we also didn't have buckets, so we go down to buckets. And we got apple wood, but we didn't have pecan wood. So we can even do things out of bloodthorn, so stuff like this. So there's some evil stuff in through here. Let's just go and get 3 apple wood buckets. And what else do we have? We had splints. I'll just get one of those. Crutches, I'll just get one of those. So we've still got 30 points left, and we've just then got food. So if we just go back into, that's our ale. I'll just get it over. I always like to have one, like ending in 1. It just means sometimes you get a free barrel if you do that one. I forget how much is stored per. I think it's 20 per barrel. So we're down to 26 left. Where's our food? And we'll just go back up to the. Where should we do it? Drinks, cheeses. Cheeses is going to be. We've got 26 points. Drinks. Powders. We should have a lot of gypsum already. We don't know if we're going to end up with gypsum plaster. I might just go and add more gypsum plaster, get down to 20 points, and then just get a couple of, we get donkey cheese, I think. Let's get 2 of those. So we'll just add a little bit more food in through there. So we've got a lot of plaster. Plaster is something that you often can't get where you're sort of starting. So gauntlets and shoes are 1 item now, and can be worn or both. Do you still craft 2? I'm not sure about that, to be honest. It's sort of one of these things where I always now err on the side of getting double, like the 6. And I think it's per hand, I think, for those. Yet the greaves are like a set of greaves. So these are a single entity. But I think that these have to be for each left and right foot. I may be, I know, I think it's the way it is. I may be wrong about that, but anyway, that's sort of where we are. Animal-wise, we're only bringing turkeys. We're not bringing anything else. So we're just bringing enough turkeys to get started with a, because we don't know what's going to happen in this haunted biome, we just go through that one through there. Where are we? So, I was always making terrible too. So I'm sure what you mean with freezer and X6 saying yes, but yes, what do you mean by that? I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if it means that I've so dead turkeys will kill us all. There we go, says Vegan. So yeah, gauntlets and shoes are one item now and can be worn on both. Yeah, so I do need to have 2 gloves, right? Okay, yeah. So I'm pretty sure I don't have anything left over when we do get started. Fortress name. What do we have? We have tin crystal. Well, we do have tin here. That's okay. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. So as reckless, in back to this other side, we can just keep on doing. Actually, let's just see what other random names. Razor wealth. I like that. I like that even better. So that'll do us for what we have. We can sort of start to construct the language around different things. The mod that I've got in here does add more to these. The group name is the Treasures of Turquoise. We can do better than that. The Seal of Wax, the Diamond Wall, the Artificial Cloister, the Tin Treaty, the Fords of Steel. Yeah, that sounds good. I like that because we'll be making steel as soon as we possibly can. We'll go and click on done there. The group symbol is going to be a... I don't think we'll worry about it, to be honest. Okay, let's just make a hammer. Toy hammers. Not sure why we're not getting war hammers. There we go, Warhammer. I don't know why it didn't show up. Images of a Warhammer. That'll do. I won't worry too much about that one through there. Just click on done. Problems. So we've already checked this one out. So we've now got the backpacks. We've got the bucket, splints, and crutches. That's okay. We won't bother saving the profile because I've already saved it. So we'll just go and embark. In we go. So we're going to be going in with this very, very difficult settings. You can always change the settings once you get going. So Dwarven Outpost, you've arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make it the outpost for the glory of all Detour Limar. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labour comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plough or hook. Provide for your dwarves. You're expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it's spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the cougars get hungry. A new chapter of Dwarven history begins here. So at Razor Wealth. So strike the earth. Okay. Now we start off paused, which is what we want to do because we need to do a lot of evaluation. What we need to do is we need to just see these are not dead. So this is not a reanimating biome. We can tell that immediately. If there were dead trees everywhere, but we do actually have things like prickleberries. We do have some raspberries. So we've got a mixture of sort of death type sort of evil stuff, as well as some things like raspberries and things. So we can actually go and pick those. If we just go back across, we do actually have at the top here, the underneath there is, we can't see it there, but there is the actual, the river runs through here somewhere. So we've got those. Have a bit of a look. We've got some big trees in through here as well, the ginkgo tree trunk. So this is not a reanimating biome. Hope you guys don't mind. Just have a bit of a look up through here. We've got sandstone. Okay, that's going to be... if we see sandstone, we know that the aquifer is going to be fairly deep, but we can smooth sandstone, so that's actually not too bad. So this is actually silty clay loam walls. We're going to need to get into safety as quickly as we possibly can. So everything is sort of now just sort of out through here at this point in time. We'll have a quick look and see what's around us. So we're just going to have a quick look into the others. There's nothing here just yet. There's no dead or missing. Pets or livestock are there as well. We've got a couple of stray water buffaloes. The fact that this isn't a reanimating biome means that we don't have to worry too much about the location. And then the citizens. Let's just go back through the the first of these, and we'll just go and rename each of them from the top. So I'll just go back to my list. We may have more than the 7. We'll just see how we go. So the expedition leader is, and I'm just going to go straight from the top and work my way down. So this was going to be, so this one here is, if we just rename names, this one is going to be Zaradin, the expedition leader. All right, and go back to our list again. The next one is the miner. This is going to be Began. With the siege update, your miners are now more likely to run into trouble, so just be aware of that. Yeah, with because the different creatures can now start to dig through walls and things, so you need to be fully secure. You need to actually put walls in around the actual to make it so that you end up with more security in your actual fortress itself. So we've got that one done. We'll just go back to our list. So we've got Began. The next one here is the woodworker, and this one is if we just go back up the top, this is Klingzog. That's the next one. The fact that we don't have a reanimating biome does mean that we can be a bit more relaxed than what we normally do in terms of our run. Next one across is that was Klingzog. This is Adrian Sotier. So I'm naming them right from the very, very start because if things do go wrong, at least we have got them all named. We know who to ban. I always feel bad if I let the game run for any length of time and then all of a sudden. So now we've got our 3 military guys, which this first one is Frizerin. There we are, the peasant. And we've got one more, a couple more in through here. We've got Exik. Exik 777, another peasant. And then finally the last of the current ones is Giza Zone. Oh, Giza Roan, sorry. Giza Run. I'm not sure how you want to pronounce that one. So that's the so they're the various ones that are named. We still have Star Mage and Crunch. I don't know if you had any luck redeeming one as well. But when we get our first lot of guys, we're going to then sort of start to name more of them. So. Now, MH Budek is saying, nice to see a stream about this game. I like the game, but never really knew what I was doing. That's sort of like, I have certain things in my head that I need to do. And the first thing is I need to get security. The fact that we don't have a reanimating biome, or we don't think that we do, I'm pretty sure we don't, because otherwise there'd be dead trees around. So this is not an undead area that we're in. Even though it's haunted, one thing we also have to be careful of is, even in a haunted biome, we can end up with extreme weather, and that can actually kill off your dwarves as well. So just be like, because we're playing in an evil area, that's actually a concern for us. So we need to now start to think about, okay, how do we get security for our dwarves? The first thing I'm going to need to do is because I've actually brought a military, but they're not actually part of a military yet, so we need to actually go and establish that one right from the very, very start. So I'm just going to go across and go to my nobles, which are down through here. So the way I'll try to do this as a bit of a tutorial, I guess, is we actually have the citizens we've gone through now, tasks we don't have to worry about, the place information we don't have to worry about, the labour menu we don't have to worry about just yet. Actually, I might have a quick look at this one. What I don't want is I don't want anyone running off and doing fishing at the moment, so I'm going to have nobody does fishing. All right, so only the selected do this, and so that by turning Adrian off, Adrian won't go off to now do any fishing. So that's now been turned off. That's probably the one thing that, and hunters as well. I definitely don't want anyone hunting. So I'm just going to turn them off. Actually, I'm going to do nobody does hunting and nobody does fishing. Even though it's a source of food, it's not a safe source of food in dangerous locations. So I'm just going to turn them off right from the start. The next one across is the work orders, which we'll come back to eventually. And then we have the nobles and administrators. So at the moment, all we have with our nobles is the expedition leader, Zaradin. We need to have like a militia commander, and the militia commander is the first person involved in the military. If I go back out and right click and then go down to the squads in the bottom corner, and I'm covering all this, actually I'll just move my head out of the way because we will be using this one a lot. I think if I sit around here somewhere, that's usually pretty good there, I think. Hopefully. So I just try to get myself in a position where it really won't matter. Again, if you're new to the game, make sure you're running DF hack as well. It certainly makes the game a lot more understandable. I'll just go and close that one down. So if I go back into my squads, and so you must appoint a militia commander to create a squad. So the first thing we need to do is actually create the militia commander. And so that's a noble. And so we go into the nobles. Anyone that's got any like special role in the fortress is going to be in through here. So we're going to go into the militia commander. We're going to go and add in one of our peasants. So we've got the 3 different peasants in through there. You can see no one's got any real relevant skills, but Free Zarin is the first one to appear there. So it tends to usually be, even if they've got slight skills, they tend to put it in the order of who's the best one for it. In this case, I'm just going to go with Free Zarin, one of our peasants. So Free Zarin is now the militia commander, and that's all we needed to do to get sort of started. I can now go and create a squad. So normally you don't have to do this, but we do this because we're playing in such a dangerous world and a dangerous location. So I'm going to create a new squad, and we're going to go to metal armor. It's going to be the uniform for the militia commander squad. It's going to be a metal armor squad, and I can go and edit that if I'm wanting to. So this one was called the steel channels. I don't mind that, actually. I can rename that one if I want to. I can go back in and actually change the randomize it if I'm wanting to. I can actually, the first adjective is steel. I can actually go and keep that one where that is, or I can go, it's the as adjective of, and then there'll be a noun, like or some sort of, like the previous one back in through there. So I can actually go in and actually just go and randomize the steel useless, the steel farm, the steel neo, the steel shower, the shroom, the steel hum, steel fruit, the steel pine, spit, steel mules, nibbled, hoisted, candy, boyish, monster, the steel scraped, steel drenched, steel blame, the steel muck. These are all, I think a lot of these are coming from the mod that we've got. Steel smoke, the steel throw, the steel pig, wine, silver, kings, steel kings, steel wound. See if we can find something where it's going to have the steel slit, ivory. God, there's a lot in there. Practice, mince, burst. That'll do. We'll just we'll call it the steel burst. You can actually have different symbols as well. I tend to sort of make these like a bit more sort of like the actual color a little. So we've got the symbol color. I can actually have like I can change that one to, for example, like a yellowy sort of color, and the background I can then sort of make that one into like a red if I wanted to. So I can actually end up with like maybe a dark red back in through there, or even more of an orangey. Oh no, I'll go back up this one. So that's going to be this. The steel burst is going to be this particular symbol, and again I can change the actual the symbols in here as well. So maybe we'll just make it a star. There we go. The steel burst, and so that's going to be our military. And at the moment we only have one creature, one unit in here, which is going to be the actual squad itself. And so what we need to do is we need to go and add more members into it. So if I go and click on the actual person, so we've got Free Zarin. Position 2, we should now see the peasants coming back up. Yeah, so both of these are competent hammer dwarfs, adequate shield user, and so we've got a hammer dwarf in through there, and we have a competent spear dwarf in through here as well. So I've got the 3 of them are now in there. I just now right click, and so they are now part of the squad. We've given them, they do actually have their basic, the requirements already. We don't have to do too much with that one. And that's pretty much it. So if I just go back to squads, I can then go and tell them what their duties are. Now, this is one of the tricky things with the game, is to actually go through what their routines will actually be. If I go and click on the squad now, I can do different things with it. I can go and change its... this is a kill order. We've got a station order. Station order will then be what I need to do initially to get them to go and do something. But what I need to do is make sure that they stay in their clothing. So if we go back across, this is assign a borough defense order, which we don't need to do just yet. Assign a training order, and we also then have we've got their equipment. Again, if we have a look at what they actually have, this is actually what they don't have anything that they've been asked to get. So we've assigned a metal uniform, so they'll be going and trying to make trying to go and grab what they can to just get ready for the for what they have to then go and do. Let's not worry about that one so much just yet. But if we go to the schedule, this is important. So if you go back in, you'll see essentially that they have different routines. So what they do is, at the moment, when they're not when they're off duty, which means that they get rid of their equipment. So they drop their equipment and go back to just being dwarfs, which we don't want. And so we can actually do it month by month, but in this case, we want them to always be ready. So I'm just going to go and click on that one through there. So I can actually have it where they actually stay, some of them stay in it, where they stagger their training, or they can be in constant training, where all they do is actually just get better and better at what they're doing. But we want them to still be dwarves when they're not actually active, but we want them to stay in their clothing. So in their actual, the routine is essentially going to be ready all the time. So that they can always act on any sort of threat that comes in. So that's now done for them. So we'll just right click. So that's actually, so the routine is now to be ready. Now what we need to do is get them to, first of all, go and get their equipment. They may still go and do it themselves because we have given them the ready command. But if I go back into a station order, I can just go and tell them to go and station themselves, say there, which means that they will now go off and set themselves up. So they're going to now go and get the equipment and deck themselves up in that. Before we unpause, we should now start to plan a little bit of how we're going to make this fortress. So we are going to be sieged, and I do want this to be a bit of a fun playthrough. So how should we do this? Should we... What have we got? We don't have any mountains as such, so we've just got like gentle slopes that run up to the top here. What we could do is actually have like a back door that ultimately goes into the hill. So maybe we do that. Let's go and there could possibly be aquifers that follow the role of the actual terrain itself as well. I think what we'll do is we'll build a doorway down under this. The thing is, the enemy can dig straight down. I think if we have any sort of access point down this way, it's going to have to be, well, maybe it can be a ramp, because we're ultimately going to need a ramp anyway. So I think I'll actually sort of start, maybe we'll make this one of the entrances for the fort, maybe even over here somewhere. It's unfortunate we've sort of got this, there's no real big long stretch that we can make use of. I think we'll make this the entrance to the actual fortress itself to start with. So what we're just going to do is just go down to the actual the dig menu. So if I just go back across into here, which is the digging menu, down through this other side, and I want to go and do a channel down to start the ramps. So I'm going to do a ramp here. So that will be one ramp. And then if I just scroll down to the next one, another ramp down through there. Let's go down, say 3 layers. And then from there, we'll then just go across from this point forward and just go under. And just see what we end up with. Let's just see what happens in through there. If we just now go and another thing we want to do is to chop down trees. I've made it so that the elves are going to get pissed off really fast if we chop down the trees. So they're going to be potentially a big enemy as well. But let's just go and get a few trees chopped down. So and then the rest of them will just hover around. Let's just unpause. Oh, another thing that actually you can do, which makes the game much more approachable, is to and I'll stop and read some of the comments in just a minute. But you can change your in your settings. If we go into the settings in through here and just double check that difficulty is on custom, that's okay. Is you go into the actual game itself, the settings in through here, and change, or is it the video settings? Yeah, the graphical FPS cap. The default is 50, which is very, very fast. Like a lot of things actually happen at 50. So if you ramp that one, if you bring that one down, the FPS is actually the speed of the game. So essentially what you've got is by making it 25, it just slows the game down. So you can sort of change that to slow the game down as well, which I think is a good way to do it. So whoops, we'll just keep on, just return it back to our game. And so we'll see that this is Klingzog, the woodcutter, is now going off to fellow tree. We can see that the military is starting to now get things. So this is Exik, the hammer dwarf. And we have a look at their items. We can start to sort of see that they've now picked up the copper shield, the copper warhammer, which is a hammer dwarf. That's what we want. The shirt, the greaves, left and right gauntlets, the helm. Now the foot has still got the shoes on board. This is actually, I forget how to sort of fix this one up. You'll see it's now got a water skin, so it can actually take some rum with it, and it's also, you should have the backpack. So Exik is sort of ready for action. So that was Exik there. Then we've got Freezerin back in this way. And again, we're looking at the copper shield, copper mace, shirt, greaves, left and right gauntlet, but just not the shoes. So the essentially and I forget how to get rid of the shoes. I think what I can do is I can force it again. Where's our next one? That's the farmer, not doing anything. Oh, there's another one there. Geyserone. I'll have a quick look in through here. So shield, spear. This one's a spear dwarf. Mail shirt, gauntlets, greaves, left and right gauntlet there. Copper helm, backpack. So these have now decked out, but except that the shoes aren't there. And if we go back and have a look at the equipment, what we'll see is that the shoes have not been not been allocated properly. So we actually have, like, these have now all been coloured. But if we go back into this one through here and go to details, to assigned metal footwear. This one, I'm not sure how we force it again. Yeah, my mind's gone a bit blank with this, because we need to tell them to get rid of their existing shoes. If we go uniform replaces clothing, that may be it. And we've got exact matches only. So we'll go and actually, I think I'll just have it worn over clothing. You know, I think I'll leave it that way. That way they've still got their other clothes on as well. I'll just leave it where that is. Steel burst, yeah, position 1. That's okay. So we'll just leave that one where that is. Yeah, these are not exactly what we want. But if we have a look and see, detect conflicts, blocking and miss. Yeah, so we've got things blocking things in through here as well with the socks and the shoes. Auto resolve conflicts. Be sure to try to click on update equipment button to reassign new equipment. Let's just see if we can resolve it that way using DF hack. All right, so they're now just wandering around. Have they got their shoes on yet? Yeah, that fixed it. That fixed it. Okay, so we'll leave that just where that is. So that's fine. So they're now decked out, ready to go, which means I can now turn off that order. So if we just go back across and they've got the station order, I'm just going to go and tell them that there's no more special orders. That way they shouldn't get out of their equipment. What we should see is that their actual equipment will then be put on their backs. Yeah, and if we have a look at this is now Freezerin, no job. Go back to items, and we still have the copper mace. So he is the militia commander, and so he has actually got his strapped to the upper body. Copper shield strapped to the upper body. So he can now use both his hands for doing other things. So that's all we need to do with our military. We'll have a quick look and see. So they've become a spear dwarf. Okay, we've found damp stone already. Wow. Okay, we've actually found ourselves in a position where we've got the, this is a silty loam. So with this one here is not sort of where we want to be. That there is aquifer. So that's aquifer there. All right, well, that didn't work all that well in that case. What have we got in through here? We've got black sand. We've got silty loam there, and we've got sandstone. So the sandstone is going to be the problem. And I think initially we just have to get down into the fort and make it at the start. So let's actually, let's go and on a corner it doesn't matter. So what's actually happening here? We can actually get some clues. I've got to make sure that my I've got the if I don't have the dig order, I don't get to see what's going on. You can see damp, rough-hewn sandstone wall, damp. So these are damp because there's aquifer in around them. But if we go and click on any sort of dig menu, we then get to see exactly what's actually happening. Now, if there's a single drop like this, it just means that it's damp. It's not actually an aquifer. If there's two droplets, it means it's a light aquifer, which means it's going to be just slowly dripping. Aquifers only drip through the cardinal points, so north, south, east, and west, and also down below. So you've got to be careful if you've got aquifer above you. So in this case, this sandstone is potentially a bit of a problem just because I don't know if I can actually, what I'm going to have to do here is, because that's an actual aquifer, we're going to need to, and we've got a upward slope down through there. Let's actually go and set this one up. I'm just going to do one single dig there. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it in a more methodical way. So because it's not as if we have any big threats, I don't have to sort of rush my way down. What I could do would be to just dig straight down at this point, which I may still do at this location. We'll see how we go. So let's just go and dig across here and then fix up this aquifer. So we'll just go and unpause that. There we are. And so when we have a look at this one again, we've now got two aquifers there. This is the only active aquifer that's going to cause us issues in this particular side. So I wanted to make sure I had like a ramp that I could get to smooth this one out. If this is sandstone, which means it's rock, I can smooth it. And so I can just go across into my smoothing command and double click it to smooth it. And then somebody will come and smooth that one for me. And eventually, there we go. That's no longer an aquifer. This one here is, but that's not. So that's not really an issue for me. At that point, I can now start to dig back down again. So I can make another ramp, or I can just start to dig like I need to get through this aquifer. I need to find out where the aquifer actually is. So what I think I might do is actually I might dig. I need to have a ramp. Ultimately, I'm in my head of what's going through. I need to get a ramp to go underground, which I do want to start the process of getting that one ready, which is what this is going to be. This is going to be the entrance for the caravans. And I want this to be a few zones in before we start to sort of have to worry about things. But we are also going to have to go down deeper. And at the moment, this is not really ideal for us to sort of try to get through. So the ramp is going to be 3 wide, which means that I can move across this way and then dig a stairwell down here. So I'm just going to dig this one across. And then we'll dig a stairwell. That'll be 3 wide there, and then the stairwell will be here. So we'll just go and dig them over. And we've now got damp stone again. What I'm going to do is because I'm watching this, I'm just going to go and do and I'm going to turn off. So mark for uninterrupted digging through damp or warm tiles. So at the moment, I'm going to allow the damp digging to be on. So so when I actually do when I do this, essentially they're just going to keep on digging through damp at this point in time. So we'll just go and what I'm also going to do is back to my labor menu, is the miners are only going to do. So we've got Zaradin and also Began, the 2 miners, and so I'm going to have if I have it so that they, you only select to do this one here, I'm going to lock in Began to only do mining, so that Began is sort of locked into, that's his only job. And so, so we'll just get that one going. Oh, hang on, we need to go back in and just do another one of these. So we've got another aquifer over here. Oh, hang on, why did that not work? Damp dig on, okay, so marked, yeah, I can actually do the damp dig. Now that I've got this, I can just start to do a damp dig. This is now, see the little arrow? That means it will go through the dampness. So we've got the width there. Actually, we only need 2 more. Yeah, 2 more will be okay. That'll just give me a little bit more to play with. So let's go this way. We're going to dig out this aquifer through here, and we're just going to go, while we're doing this, is to smooth those 2 out. And we now actually have, we're now hitting rock, so we've got sandstone cavern floor there. This is still aquifer over through here, so we just need to make sure that we go and mark that one as well. And from that point, we're then going to, so these guys, you can see there's already now water, a little bit of water on the actual ground there. We now need to go down. And so we've still got the digging, but we're now going to make a stairwell. And we're just going to go and create a stairwell straight down. We don't know how deep this will be, ultimately. So I'm just going to go and dig one that's just going to be a little bit, maybe sort of like 10 layers down, and hopefully that will get us through the aquifer. Little corner piece in there is showing us that we are going to be digging through the damp. So let's just see how we go. Now they're still trying, we've got one level of yeah, this is now aquifer in through here again. Now it's only the cardinal layers. We've got bloodstone clusters in through there, which is not aquifer, but these actually are. So we're just going to go and quickly... oh, that's peat. Damn it. Okay, this is actually now more of a problem than we thought, because peat can't be smoothed. Peat is like dirt. So this is actually cool, because it's showing us, I can now show that we can smooth that one out, but we can't smooth this one out. And this is a bit of a problem for us. So what we're going to need to do here is actually go and replace this. So we need to go in and dig that one out and dig that one out, but we don't actually have anything to replace it with just yet. And so that's going to be, by smoothing this, we get rid of the aquifer. That one's being smoothed at the moment. If we just come back up, these logs have now all been sort of kicked over, which is fine. We could actually just get, while the others aren't doing anything, we could just go and get the logs that have been chopped down and just build them in another location. So let's just go and throw them to the side of where we're actually working. I can use these logs actually to do this. We can fix this up now with the logs. I forgot about that. We'll just go and do a little bit more wood cutting there. That could be dangerous. It could actually end up being on top of, like fall on top of people, but we'll see how we go. All right, so in this case, we'll just get a few more, and we'll just go and set up a log stockpile back over here. So we'll just go back to our stockpiles, add, and we'll just make this into a wood stockpile. Accept, and we'll just go to wood. So that's an easy one. We'll get into more complex ones in a little while. Hi Sev, so redeemed a customer reward. Okay, we don't actually have any in any at this point in time. Actually, one thing we haven't looked at is the world. So we are, now where did we set ourselves up? If we just go and find our home, we're over here. So this is us. We have all of these different goblins around us. We're not at war with them yet. One thing I wanted to do was to make sure we are at war with somebody right from the start, just so we've got a bit more difficulty beyond what we actually had. You can see there we've got problems through here. We're at war with these dwarven towers, but these are a fair distance away, so they're probably not going to really impact us. So we're not seeing any other reds. Let's go and have a look. This is the Dark Goblin Pits. Who are these from? The civilization is the Lord of Stealing. Now currently we're at peace, but it's sort of like an uncomfortable peace. So what I'm going to do is because I don't have enough to be able to raid them, I'm going to go into DF hack, and I'm going to go into the GUI launcher, and I'm just going to do a diplomacy. You can see there diplomacy down through here, and we need to find Yeah, we need to find out what that diplomacy, what that group is. I wonder how we find that entity out. Command diplomacy. Okay, let's just do diplomacy on its own. There we are. So we're looking for, these are the different entities. What the Lord of Stealing, that was the one, wasn't it? 407. This is entity 407. So if we go to diplomacy 407 war. Okay, changing relationship with 407. So we're now at war with 407, the Lord of Stealing, which is the force that's right to the south of us. So if we just go back in and have another look at this one again, we should now see that this group is now at war with us. So these here are now at war with the actual with us, which means that they'll start to send out when we get one more dwarf. They're going to come. They're going to come knocking. So we're ramping up the siege, the siege aspect. Have you done a tutorial playthrough video of this game on YouTube? I have, yes. Done a lot of them actually. So I've got a series which actually, when I got hacked, I still got to go back through and bring that one back through, but that was for the old version of the game. So, but I have done one a year or so back, maybe a couple of years now, when the game first came out on Steam. So there's a fairly involved one there. Yeah, in fact, the thumbnails that I'm using for this came through from a tutorial series that I had done. I've actually got a t-shirt that I did as well, which my granddaughter absolutely loves. She keeps on going through all of the different characters on the t-shirt, which are all just from the thumbnails. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So anyway, we've got the wood stockpile. Let's just go back down into here again. So we're just smoothing that one, which we can do. We're digging that one. We haven't done this one yet. Again, that's going to be aquifer. We did allocate that one for smoothing, and then these ones for digging out. So let's just keep it going. Yep, so that's fine with what they're doing. Yeah, and we've struck bloodstone, that's fine. Now with this aquifer through here, if I click on that one, we can see that this is all aquifer. So if I can't smooth the wall, what I can do is block it off. So I'm now going to go back into my construction menu and go to constructions and walls, and I'm just going to go and place one wall there, and you can see there I do actually have some sandstone that I've picked up, and I'm going to keep the sandstone because I think I might build the fortress out of sandstone. So let's use, we've got nether cap, which is 12 willow logs. Let's just go and make willow logs go in there, and we just have another one back over here as well. So if I go to constructions, wall, and if I just go and I'll just turn that one on because we're going to be needing this one a lot. You can see I've got also a planner. I can actually plan ahead with things. This is a DF hack command. There's a lot of DF hack things that make the game a lot easier. Let's just make willow logs in through there. So the other dwarves will now come back through and bring some of these logs in to then go and fix up this little area. Now we should be here we go. We're digging down into here as well, and so we now actually have this is silty clay. Clay is not aquifer. So this is really cool actually. We're getting to show all of the different materials and how they interact with aquifers. We're back to sandstone again, which means I can smooth. So this has been awesome to be able to show all of the parameters for getting through an aquifer, like through a light aquifer. Through a heavy aquifer, it's very different because the amount of water really sort of funnels through. This one, they're still digging down this way, but this one I can just smooth out those two aquifers, and then that's sort of done. This has been really succinct, actually. It's been awesome to show this. So we'll just keep on going back that way and have a bit of a look down through here. Sandstone all the way around, all aquifer. So again, we're just going smooth, just in those 4 points. And now that's actually just damp. Actually, no, that's still going to be okay. That's going to be fine. It's just damp on the floor there. We're still coming through, but now we've found chalk. So we've actually now found, and chalk is a different type of rock. Chalk is a flux stone. So this is actually going to be, we're going to be needing the chalk for our for, what am I trying to say, for making steel. So this is actually an important thing to find. And so as we sort of come back through these are all, this is really awesome. So we'll just go and get those two done, and we'll just keep on sort of digging our way through. And we still actually have more aquifer there, more sandstone, but we've got more chalk in through this other side. We found tetrahedrite as well. This is actually a mineral. So this is actually going to be a mineral of I think it's silver and lead, I think. So I'll just go and have a look. So there is actually a stone thing in the game which will then sort of tell you what's going on with different bits and pieces. If we go back into, where is it? What's the easiest way to show this? It won't be the stocks. Forget where it actually is. It'll be in one of these. Stone use, there we go. So we can sort of see there, like chalk, as you can see there, it'll show if it's magma safe or not. Like calcite is magma safe, cassiterite is magma safe, but chalk is not. So we can't use this around magma. Makes steel bars, makes pig iron bars, make quicklime. So we've got a few different things that the chalk will then go and do. If we have a look at we've got the economic stone through there, tetrahedrite. I don't know if it's going to show us that actually. With what we can then go and do. Select to use in non-economic jobs. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off, actually with dolomite, that's okay. The chalk, I might turn that use off, just so that we actually don't make use of it at this stage until we find other things. So we have sandstone as well, which... so actually that's just going to be under other stone. So sandstone is nothing special. Where is it? There it is there. It is magma safe though. So that's interesting as well. But the economic stone, I'm not sure where the metals are. Yeah, tetrahedrite. Where are you? Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is ore of silver, 20%, and copper. There we go, silver and copper down the bottom through there. So tetrahedrite is not silver and lead, it's silver and copper. So we can actually, with that, even with just tetrahedrite, we can start to build up a like we make war hammers, for example, out of silver, and we can. Copper is not bad for actually still making armor. That's what we've got at the moment. But we've got those in through there. We are going to ultimately be looking for ores of iron, so limonite, magnetite. There's a few of them, hematite. So there's a fair few. There's it's galena, that's silver and lead. So that's sort of where we are with the various metals in through that side. Anyway, just get back to our smoothing. So that's actually been smoothed out, and we're still digging down. Now this one still has the sandstone aquifer is on the side here, but the chalk wall is fine down through this other side. And now we've just got damp. The damp is telling us that that water has either dripped down the walls, which is very likely. You can see there we've got you're standing in a level 1 of water at this point in time. So there's a little bit of mud and water from the aquifer above him, but this is no longer aquifer. We can just sort of see that this is actually now just chalk in through here, and he's still going to be digging down. Just go down a bit deeper. And that's now the bottom of the fortress. So we should now be safe. The walls here are damp because of the water that's dripped down the walls. So there's, and you can see there, these have already dried off. So I've got this one selected, or if I go this one selected, we've still got the dampness there, but that will then disappear. This one actually, oh no, these ones will stay that way because the aquifer's above them. So they're always going to have aquifer dripping on top of them, so that's dangerous. That's not dangerous anymore. This is actually just wet from stuff dripping down the walls. So we're now at the bottom of the fortress, and we can now start to work our way through with what we're doing. It's probably going to be, ultimately, I probably won't make this into my main area, but I can now fairly safely now work. I'm going to turn off the damp digging off, so I'm no longer going to be doing that one. So when we come across damp in future, the game is going to pause and say, I'm not going to dig that out. So I'll just go and get rid of those, and we'll dig out. Do I want a double stair? I think I'll just make this into like a little entry location initially without sort of too much going on at this point in time. You can see that we've now sort of blocked off this one with the wood. So we've sort of done all of the aquifer type stuff now at the moment. So we're smoothing all of those out. When we get to the bottom here, let's just go and dig this one out now. So we end up with a zone of like coming back out this other side. The ramp is still going to ultimately end up coming down deep through the aquifer, but I'll come back and dig that one up at another point. So let's not worry about this one. We're going to have to get underneath this aquifer. So I'm just going to go and ditch all of those, and we'll come back and rethink about about what's going to happen here in the long term. Initially, what I need to do is get underground so I can at least sort of protect the fortress. So let's just go into here and start to dig. So we'll get that one dug out, and we'll then just go in with like a doorway there, for example. We'll then make a bigger chamber, maybe a big chamber like this, with 3 on each side. We can sort of dig that out. There we go. That'll do us. Now, ultimately, they should both be mining. That's Began. Began's only going to do mining. And we're no longer seeing any more drips anywhere. Just got that little bit of mud at the bottom there. So they're both now mining things out. We don't have enough nest boxes, that's okay. We'll get back to those. And we had struck tetrahedrite before. Actually, I will use chalk. I had turned that off. I'm just going to go back because there's a lot of it. If we just go back to stone use, chalk is there, and we will use that for anything, just because we're going to have a lot of it. Here's more tetrahedrite. This is good. So we're going to end up with nuggets of tetrahedrite, which we can't really use initially, but we can use eventually. This is just going to be our starting point for the fortress itself. Now what I want to do is I want to start to bring everything down into this location. So I'm just going to go and create another stockpile. And I'm just going to start up through here, just establish one there essentially. And we're going to accept, and this one's going to be for everything, but we are then going to go in and customize it. So we've turned on to allow everything to come into this particular stockpile. But if we go back to custom, I can then go and turn things off. So corpses and refuse are not part of the stockpile. The other thing I don't want to be part of the stockpile is stone. And so I'm going to actually turn that one off to none. So we're not going to have any stone other than what's already in there. We'll do that somewhere separately with stone. So we want to bring everything else inside, including the wood at this stage. So we'll sort of get that one established. And we'll then just get a few other little areas established in here as well. So with this stockpile, as they dig stuff, so they're going to start to bring in the goods from upstairs. Actually, maybe I'll turn wood off. Let's go no wood. Otherwise, they're going to prioritize that. I don't want them to prioritize this. And if I just go back into the stockpile itself and just go into repaint the stockpile, I can then just go in. At the moment, we're just doing a left click to choose the corners of a rectangle. Let's just go and do that. That'll just make the stockpile a little bit bigger. Now, backing down in here, I've got like a couple of different areas. I'm just going to build some very, very quick workshops. So just a workshop in here. The first one I want to do is a stoneworker. And so we'll just go and build that one there, and we can just make that one out of chalk. And then we'll make a woodworker as well. Thanks there, Final Rabbit, for redeeming another one. We don't have any free dwarves just yet. And they're bringing another spare axe in, that's fine. All right, and we'll make a woodworker over here. So we'll just go back across to workshops. And in this case, so I've got the stoneworker already done, the carpenter's workshop there. That will just get us started to be able to then go and build certain things. So we'll just wait for the others to come back in. At the moment, what they're doing is there's a rat that's now come, like that's we're going to find them wherever we've got food or seeds. They're likely to sort of come and do what they're going to do. This is now all secure. We've secured the aquifer, and we've still got a little bit of dampness on the ground there from where they sort of were coming up. This is now full, which is fine. I might just leave that one where that is. At least it's a nice little stockpile ready for us to go and do different things. At the moment, we have a the entrance. This is the entrance that we actually have. So we've got a worm and a tick there as well on the outside. But there's a lot of stuff in the actual wagon itself that we need to ultimately bring back in. So we'll just keep on bringing that one down. And we're going to run out of space with this particular one, but we'll just get sort of started as much as we can. And I think what we'll do is we'll actually go and even dig further across. Let's actually see what we can find out in terms of the top of this area. Do we want this to be where our fortress ultimately is? This is a nice big flat zone here. There are just saplings and stuff, so this will ultimately... This would be a good one for us to actually have where our fort actually is finally positioned, just on top of this hill. So let's go and prepare this to be what we're going to have. So the way I like to do this is to go and go to like a dig menu and just get it ready for what we're going to ultimately be having through here. So we'll dig above ground. We'll actually build a like a sandstone fort or something like this for the sieges. And in this case, we'll end up with and we have to now start to think ahead a lot about what we're going to be doing. One of the cleanest ways to do this is to go and open up this menu here, which will then allow me to, actually not that one so much, or is it? No, that's still not going to be what I need. Where is it? There should be the... Is it that one? No, it's not that one. I'll just go and turn that one off. Oh, there it is. It's on the side through here. So I can change to blueprint only mode. This allows me to plan. And so I can start to sort of even sort of structure where I'm going to have like archer towers or anything like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to actually position things where I end up with like a 2x2 area for some towers. So let's just go and start to plan out. Like we'll just go into dig channel, so I can actually at least put things on the ground where I think I'm going to be wanting to have them. So if I go and just build a, and these aren't going to be actually constructed, but I can at least go and get a feel for what we're going to then be building on the actual fortress itself. So if we then go and have like an area like 3, and then we'll have like a drawbridge, which will be another 3. I'll just do that there, and then another 3 there. Another zone of 4x4 there. And we'll just keep on sort of digging these out. So let's make it so that we end up with an actual... oops, I've gone too far. So I can just go back in and remove those. So we'll make this the top area, so we just at least get an idea. As I can't go through there, but we can just at least get them ready. I could make that go a little bit further out. Actually, I might just do that. Just so we have the archer tower sort of level with the others. So we'll make that the top of the fortress with walls. So we'll end up with sort of this sort of zone, which means that we're going to ultimately have like the entry will be up in through here when we finally build it, and so any caravan that comes in will then come through this gate, and we'll then we'll need to have like a depot off to the side ultimately, so we can sort of have this, or maybe even further back. I might have to go further back actually, just looking at that. So the depot is like a 5x5 area, which I could still leave there. Yeah, I can actually have, I do tend to like to go underground, but I think I can leave all that above ground. I might just make that a little bit bigger. Let's just go in and ditch these. Whoops. Go and grab that. So in this case, we'll just go 2 deeper. And that one as well. So let's just get the actual flooring sort of established to where we think we're going to be needing it, and that way I can always just have it sitting up here, even though we're not going to get close to getting in and doing that one in the short term. But that gives me a nice big area in the top of the fortress. Now, if they bring that in, I'm probably going to need to have my my actual location going down from in here, like this, the main staircase. So let's go and plan for that as well, where we end up with a staircase that comes off the side. So we'll go and build that in here. Almost make it a 2x2 staircase, and so this will ultimately be the staircase leading down through the middle of the fortress. And I can start to build some of this as we as we bring it through. And I'm looking for where we stopped there. I'm looking at the mini map to see where we actually ended up coming in. So let's go and make that the actual staircase up. And I think we could even make use of this now and start to at least build a portion of this. So if that's where we're going to sort of have the staircase coming up into it, down to that position there, I'll now just go and start to actually build this. So we're going to go across now to the, I'm going to turn off that mode and just start to dig out like a panel in through here, and we'll try to dig above this and see if we can actually, until we find the aquifer. So we'll just go back across. There's the other entrance in through that side, and we'll just dig this one down now to where we actually are there. So we'll dig that one out. Yep, and let's just bring the others in for now. So we'll just bring that one across. Just grab myself a drink of water. I'll be right back. All right, so this has now been built, and we can build things. We've got like a lot of chalk. We've got it. I don't want to be building. I don't want to be using sandstone actually. So what I might do is I might actually go and stop them from. Well, the sandstone. I'll see what other rocks we end up having, because we're going to need a lot of rocks to build the top of the fortress. So I'm sorry I'm missing so many of the comments here, guys. I will try to get back to those in just a little while. If you do an DasTactic, you can then sort of grab my attention that way as well. So what we're going to do in the Stoneworkers Workshop is we now need to secure what we've done. And initially, the first incursions are not going to be all that dangerous. So we're possibly going to be okay just by blocking this off with a hatch. So we can do a hatch cover there. We can even do a door there as well. We can actually place a door, or even a door there plus a hatch cover, just to have 2 levels of protection. That way we'll sort of see them when they do come. I could also put a hatch cover there if I wanted to. So these are all different things we can do just to sort of help us out. So we've got 2 hatch covers, 1 door so far. Remember that they can dig now as well. If they dig through here to get to us, they could end up flooding our fortress. So we do have to be careful with the aquifer. Let's just keep on going down. Once they get down to the bottom through here, there's a door there. So that's two hatches, 2 doors. 3 doors down through that side, and we'll probably do another door down here. So that's going to be four doors, 2 hatches. Let's just go back in, add new tasks. So we're just going to go into hatch cover, rock door. It doesn't matter whether it be wood or rock, to be honest. And so we'll just go and get those done. That will be the start. We'll just go back into this one through here. We'll just go back to the stockpile, view the stockpile, and we're just going to go and add on these extra bits. Just so we've got all of that there. This is now pretty full with what we actually have. So we've got certain things like the iron anvil. It's important that we bring that one down. So we're still going to have a lot of stuff upstairs, unfortunately, that we will need to action. But we need to just block off, so in case anyone does actually come. So a struck tetrahedrite, we've got bauxite. We haven't had any wild weather yet, which is good. So we may just have normal weather for all we know, which would be quite nice for a change. There's dolomite as well. So at the moment, this is the only real entrance into the fortress. We don't have to build above ground, but we can if we wanted to. Let's have a look and see what else we've got up at the top here. Now at the moment they'll congregate in around here, which at the moment isn't a big problem. We'll just go and make sure that there's nothing else that's come in. Yeah, great horned owl. These are this is fine. These are just wild animals. There's no one dead or missing. We are going to have to bring all the animals inside as well. That's okay. We'll just keep it coming back down. And so we've got Freezerin is now working in the stoneworkers workshop. Might just get a couple of beds built as well. So we'll add a new task. Beds. Where are they? Should be at the top. That's strange. I can't see them. Oh, there, right at the very top. Yeah, I knew that there were, like we do need to get a few beds built, so let's just get 4 of them done as well. And away we go. Oh, we found hematite already as well. This is good. So there's our metal. There's our iron. Here we go. Aha! Here we go. So we've actually now got wild weather. So this is what we have to be careful of. So a cloud of creeping soot has drifted nearby. This is because we're in a haunted biome. Let's have a look and see what this one actually is. So this is actually like a fog that's come in, but it's actually soot. Now, we don't know what this soot's going to do to living creatures. And so we almost want to see what happens to a living creature. This is very close to where we are. We are just down here. So we need to not really risk anything. We need to go and get all the everyone back inside now. So we need to. There's a few different things we need to go and do. We need to stop sitting in around this area when we've got nothing else to do. We need to get the animals inside as well, or we could leave one of them outside to see what actually happens. What are the water buffaloes up to? This is a cow, and that's a cow as well. That's actually, these are good because it'll provide us with milk. So I want to get both of them inside. All right, time to make use of these. Let's just go and add in the. We're still building this little area in through here at this stage. I think I'm just going to go and create yet another zone in here. Where should we do it? Where should we do it? Where should we do it? We're going to have to, once we bring them inside, we're then going to have to try to find a good location for them. I could just bring them in here initially if I needed to. So let's go and make that into a zone. So for animals and for a lot of different things, you place zones. So you can see there, place zone to establish meeting areas, pastures and more. So if I go into this zone, one thing we are going to need is a meeting area because I don't want them outside. So the important zone is where your citizens will gather to socialise. Crucially, the meetings area is where locations such as taverns, temples, hospitals and the like are established. Initially, our meetings area is just going to be here. So this is where they're going to sit and talk. So we're just going to go and accept that. So we need to get one of them established because at the moment, the default meeting location is this one here until we establish one. So that will now mean that they'll go and sit in that zone there until we can get something a little bit better. That's important. The next thing we need is a pen or pasture. So this was going to be for the animals. I'm just going to go and create that in here. So we'll just go and click on accept. And so that's not enough for me to just do that. I then need to go and allocate the actual, like I can assign them into here, but if I just go into select the animals, I really want everything assigned here. Yeah, I'll get everything assigned. So we'll get all of those done. Now there's certain, these ones here, these grazers require pastures. And so this is not going to be good enough for them. So we've got that one through there. That's sort of getting established now. Let's just go up to the top and just see what actually happens here. That soot we don't want to be caught out in. We don't know what that's going to do. Come on guys, get the animals downstairs. Here comes the soot. So soot's just getting here just before. So this is a creeping soot that's now just coming over the hill. So it's just making its way through. This will come through every so often. We don't know what this does yet. And when we play in a haunted biome, this is like a freak weather pattern that will come through all the time. There is actually a volcano to the north of us. So let's pretend that it's coming from this volcano here. We're right here. That makes sense. That makes sense. The crescent of nurturing. This is the smeared spikes. So the smeared spikes are also, I think, in a bit of a haunted location there as well. We're just in a tiny little haunted area through here, but this is where the smoke is now billowing in from that particular location. We don't know what it will do, and it could do anything. We do have 2 animals left outside. Now, what I'm going to have to do is try to get them, and so this one is now herding in. Geezerone is actually now herding these back downstairs. Have we made the doors yet? What have we got? We've got a hatch cover there, and we've got a chalk door. Right. So let's go and quickly try to put these up so that these actually will then sort of protect us a little bit. So we'll just go and throw a door in. So we go again, just go back to our constructions, go back to doors and hatches, go and place a door. The first door we want to place is going to be upstairs here, in here somewhere, maybe there. I'll put it there. So the chalk door there, and we want a hatch cover as well. So we'll just go back across and doors and hatches, hatch there. I've got 2 hatch covers. So I did have another one out here as well. Let's go and throw that one up there. See what happens with this soot. Oh, there we go. Now we've got a few of them in the soot. Who was that? Oh, now was Exik always this colour? Wounds, treatment, history, description. Skin is brown. I thought she looked purple to me. All right, so nauseous. So it's now nauseous because of the soot. We can also see what's happening through here. Health, no health problems, wounds, treatment, history, description. I don't think that that one has actually hit the soot just yet. This one's trying to grab this particular one, so it's now nauseous. I think if that's all that it does, it won't be terrible. But the soot is, here we go, we've got creeping soot all over the upper body, everywhere, in the eyes. Yeah, so unfortunately, we don't know what that's going to do. So the soot is there, and we don't actually have a way to clean ourselves either. This is now another problem. So the let's just keep it going. What I might do is I might set up an area where the dwarves don't go back outside when it's like this. So when the soot's there, we'll just keep them, we'll confine them into here. We're going to need to find water pretty urgently. Now we can actually create like a well because we've got the aquifer above us. So we can sort of make use of that. But we could also dig down to try to find like water downstairs as well. So we've got to, and there may even be another aquifer below us for all we know. We just don't know. So I think we might try to find the caverns as well, and see if we can actually find water that way. Because if we get the soot on us, we have to clean it off, and at the moment it could cause really big problems later on. So I'm going to now just go and create what's called a burrow, which is the, you can see here, established burrows to organise work and living spaces in larger fortresses. But we can do this one to create like a safety zone. So I'm just going to go and add a new burrow. And from here, I just go and paint in where the burrow is actually, where the safe area is going to be. And so I'm just going to go and keep on digging all of this area out as a safe zone. Establish this zone in through here. I'll just do that one there. This is very hard to look at, so let's just go across and we'll make this one that looks like a bit like a love heart. We'll just go and select that particular location. Sorry, that particular one there. We'll just make it so that it's fairly dark with what we can sort of see there. Maybe even darker again. No, it probably doesn't need to be that dark. Yeah, maybe just more back up this way. I want to be able to see through it when it's there. And the background color, I'm just going to go and create that one as well with like a greenish sort of colour, just so I can see back through it. Yeah, maybe in there somewhere. And then we'll just go back to the symbol colour again and just make it a little bit darker. Just want to be able to see the heart. Go light maybe. That's like the saturation up there. Not finding a good one. I just can't see the zone. I think I'll have to go up this side. Be better over there. No, I'll still keep it green. I just like to having green just to know that that's going to be ultimately the a safe area. That'll do us. That'll be okay. We'll just accept that one. And so this is burrow 1. I'm just going to call this one safe, just so that we sort of know. And that's going to be essentially what we can then do is allocate. So the dwarves stay in that zone. So if we go and click back on that one again, the safe zone is through there. I can have multiple zones. But one thing I can do in my squad area is to go and click to configure a civilian alert. And we're going to configure that one so that when we sound the alarm, they're going to move into the safe zone. So I can activate the civilian alert. That way they won't go upstairs. Let's go and do that, I think. So we've actually now got a civilian alert on, which means that they will stay on this layer. I could go up the stairs. I think I'll actually go and allow that as well. So let's just go back to our zone and paint. Oops, hang on. Yeah, that should be okay. We'll just allow them to go up to there. So that should, now we've got Gizerone there is healthy. And we're now going to have to dig down, I think. I think that's our best bet. So they will now come in. So we've got the civilian alert is now on. It's now gone through. This one's now nauseous as well. So annoyed after choking on dust. It says underground, but it's essentially been, there is now this soot that's everywhere. Which if it only makes them nauseous, it's not terrible. But we'll see what actually happens through here. Annoyed after choking on dust underground. There we go. So the soot is probably just going to be just going to affect their moods, I would guess. We can see there that everyone's pretty happy at this point in time. All right, let's keep it going. Now there's a vomit. So is vomiting on the way down. So we've got so X-Sick is now throwing up everywhere. This is why we have to go and clean off what we're doing here. So we're going to need to go and get our mining dwarves to potentially sort of look down. Let's keep this as a as one layer, and then we'll go to the next zone and make this into a zone where we can then go further down and look for the caverns. So we'll just go and create like another stairwell. I'll create it there, just leading down, and I'm just going to go a fair way down to say elevation 0, and I'm just looking over through here to get that one established, and just see if we can find a if we can go down deeper than that. Like it goes down like a lot of layers, but let's just keep on going further down and just see what we can discover. So we'll keep that one where that is. Oh, hang on. I didn't make this into a zone. What I can do is to stop. Yeah, we've got all this vomit now all over the place. What we can do is we've now established the door. I can now just go and lock the door. So let's just go into here, lock it down. No one can actually go in or out. We've got all of the animals. Actually, that's now passed. Let's just turn it off. Just make it passable, and we'll now clear the civilian alert. So that's now cleared, which means that they can now go back upstairs again. Yeah, there's a pile of vomit there. There's a pile of creeping soot there as well. It just got caught up in the vomit. I'm not sure where the soot's actually gone. You've already established that one, that's fine. Just get rid of that one. All right, let's keep it going. So I don't think it's going to be too damaging with what we're doing. So we'll just keep on coming back down through here. Just allow them now to go back upstairs. We're going to have to be careful of the vomit, but let's see what we can find. You're just going to keep on sort of digging down. It's all dolomite. Oh, here we go. So we have discovered an expansive cavern deep underground. I'm going to click on OK, and then pause again because we want to check this one out. No water. What's interesting with this one is, where is there water? Got jet wall over there, lignite there. Now lignite is interesting as well. Let's have a quick look and see with our stones again. Lignite, make coke from lignite. So this is actually, lignite is important for us to make coke, which we can then use to make steel. So that actually gets our iron. We've now got all the components we need to make steel. So this is actually just good for the future, just knowing that we've actually found that one through there. We've got jet wall in through there. We've got limonite, which again is iron, back in through this other side. But we have... So we're seeing it go this way. I'm just going down deeper. Oh, there we go. There's our water. There's our water source. They're right there. Now, the next little trick we have is we've now got a situation where we need to get access to the water, and we can plan ahead a little bit to make it more secure. Our dwarves will be wanting to make use of this area. This is quite a nice little area actually when we have a look at it. We can't see off that edge, like that's now too far removed from where we are. But as we come back up to where we actually came in, where was it? Here. We're sort of found the top, like one of the top layers. This is interesting actually. So we come into here. This is actually the top of the of everything. we have a 2-layer zone there, which is not really enough to grow things, but it's enough for us to be able to block things off very, very effectively. So we can actually make use of this area here as well. So we can do a lot just in here. So what we want to do is we want to now block off the as we go down deeper and deeper. It's always hard to sort of try to allocate what's going on, but down through here we have another drop that goes down this way. So our stairwell is coming this side, and then it goes straight down to a downward slope there, which we don't really want. What we want to do is we want to block off as much as we possibly can. That's also a downward slope. It doesn't go anywhere. So that's actually fine that way, but this one is not. So what we'll do is let's just go and we've still got more stairs that can come back through. Again, I'm trying to find areas where it can now block off. This one over through here is interesting because we actually have like a wall that goes all the way around there. It doesn't go beyond that one. That's the top level. So it doesn't extend off anywhere else. It extends all the way down into here and also down this way. And sort of that's like a hard wall there. From here, it still stays with a hard wall down in this zone. So it doesn't go anywhere else that way. This way still comes down. Then we lose sight of it there. So we do actually have some, we need to block this area off to make use of the heights that we actually have. So we need to find a good way of actually sort of locking that one off. But let's not worry about it too much initially. We'll just come back and see what we can actually do with this. But this is actually a really nice little spot that we've now found. And we can certainly block off this top bit. But we need to get down to that water. So I think what we'll do is we'll make a stairwell. I did notice that there was actually a really interesting piece of rock that actually went into the water, and we could make use of that to create a, look, it's a long way down. Where is it? Over here. So we end up with this little piece of rock here is actually quite interesting, because that one goes it's like a column that goes up through the solid rock. So it goes down into the water, and so we could actually make use of this to build a well. And I think we'll do that initially right from the very, very start. So let's go and get this one ready, and we're going to allow the water to seep through this diagonal, which it goes slowly through diagonals, but it goes quickly if it's sort of like a cardinal point. So we actually can go and start to dig this one. So let's just go and again we'll just do planning initially. So we're just going to turn the planning on and dig across to here. So that's going to be sort of what we're going to be digging out. In the layer above, I'm going to need to get to this layer here. So I'm going to have to dig this one out as well, just to be able to dig out that particular layer ultimately. So dig a channel. I'm just going to go and dig a channel there. And then I'll dig another area through here across to that channel. I'm going to turn that one off because we need to get this one ready with a floodgate. So we just so the animals that can swim can't actually break through that one easily. Thanks for the subscription there, Ladram. Very much appreciated. And then from here, that's going to have to be another channel down as well. But I'll do this bit by bit. So, and then we just want a stairwell that then is going to go up in here. So the stairwell will then sort of go back from this location here and then all the way up to where we currently are, which is there. All right, so that's now we're over here. So that means we need to get across to here to get a well. At that point, we're then going to build a oops, not one of those, a channel down, and that will then go all the way down to that point there. And then this will become the stairwell. Now this is probably also where we're going to have to ultimately then put the hospital. So we'll just go and dig out this zone.
So that will become the well, and then we just need to connect this one back up. I'll just go back in and start to build the corridor. Now we might just build the corridors from the south. So we'll get that established straight away, I think. So from here I can then just go back into my allocation, and I can go change the blueprints to standard. So I can actually then just go and start to say, okay, make all of that, like dig all this out properly. Everything we've done in through here is actually fairly good, so I'll just go and make it so that they dig all of this out initially. It's all secure. That's the only one that's actually not. And actually we don't want that. That's the one that we don't. That's the only one we don't want to be digging out initially. So we'll just go that way. That should be all fine. And we want to go up and make sure that we end up with a floodgate. So we'll just go and go back up the top here again and to tell the guys to go and make a floodgate in here. So add a new task, make a floodgate. Oh, actually not a floodgate. We want a grate, a rock grate. So that'll be how we sort of then lock off and secure that one. So that will then at least get us the water source that we need. We could come in from the other angle as well. I might just dig another channel in. That'll be fine. We've got one that's not super happy. I've still got things upstairs. We do have the beds now in through here. What I'm just going to do is, we're not really ready for the beds. One thing we probably want to do as well is to start to look at this area now, this zone, and to probably block it off, to be honest. Let's just go and channel that one through there. See, that one there is actually okay-ish, I think. I think I might keep this open for now, actually, and just let the dwarves do what they're going to do in around this zone. They'll eventually just explore it a little bit. Let's make it a little bit more dangerous, I think, with what we end up having. And we didn't end up with we didn't actually go down and create anything there. That's actually like an open area below us. If we go back up and have a look and see where we're going to ultimately have, there's going to be another stairwell there, another stairwell here. That would actually work, that one there. Yeah, I might establish that one. That one then goes further down. Again, this is fairly controllable. There's some good stuff in there where we can actually easily block this off. I'll just get rid of those other these other ones in through here. We don't need these. We've now found what we were looking for, so we'll just stop that from being something that they mine out. But let's go and establish our stairs a bit differently in here as well. So we've got the stairwell. So we'll just go down to the bottom here, which is going to be... oh, they've actually dug... No, sorry, that's going down. That's fine. It's not that far down, actually, to this level. We'll make that the stairwell up into this zone here. So you're going to dig down through those, up downstairs, until we end up with a downstair there. And then we'll sort of figure out where we can block things off effectively through that zone. And we might even just tell the wood chopper to chop a few of these trees down as well. It's funny, that one there we don't. It's on its own. It's a tower cap of no height. These here will chop down as well, and we can then make use of these to ultimately create the walls for this little area. There's not going to be a hell of a lot of wood coming off these because there's no height. Some of these are much bigger. Maybe I'll just chop these down as well. All right, so this is a source of risk for us at this point in time. We'll eventually get it secure. Just have a double check and that there's no other animals. Yep, so these are just wild animals outside. That's fine. Hopefully nothing will come into here. At the moment, we're very, very susceptible to being attacked. And this will be the, here we go. There's Zaradin mining his way across. Here comes Began from the south. More tetrahedrite. Just going to pop some beds in. If you just, even if you put them down, I can always just go and change them. It doesn't have to be even a bedroom. They will actually, the dwarves will come and sleep on them. It's not ideal, but it's good enough to start with. All right, so we're now moving down. There's some tourmaline clusters, so some gems. Let's get all this established first. Let's wait for these to get here. We haven't had anything dangerous happen just yet. So digging further and further down into this zone. Here we are. Now we've still got this one here. They're now digging across as well, and this is the underground area that we need to have. So we do actually have limonite in through here, ore of iron. So not that we're going to worry so much about that one, but we'll just go now and create the zone for this. So we're just going to go back into the constructions. I think this is how we do it. You've got a wall grate. So it blocks creatures but allows the passage of fluids and items. It can be built on any floor. Grates, unlike bars, have a quality and enhance the value of the room. So we'll just go and create that grate there. So we've got a chalk grate that's been built. We're just going to go and allocate that one into that zone. That will then keep that secure. And what we want to do above this is to come back up right up the top here and make this into a well. So we're just going to go back across into constructions. This will be machines and fluids. And the well is here. So place the well in an open space above water to provide a relatively safe area for your citizens to draw water. Requires mechanisms, blocks, and a chain and a rope. So we actually brought that with us. So we're just going to allocate. Oh, hang on, needs blocks. Oh, we do need to have a blocks and mechanisms. Okay, so we need blocks and mechanisms. So I don't quite have everything that I require just yet. I needed to get more workshops. What I might do, it's a little bit rough through here. Let's just go and dig out more of this zone. This is like a big sort of catch-all area. So we've done that bit of it. And we'll just go and get them to come back out once we've done this one. I just want to make sure that's that goes all the way to the very, very bottom. Now that's actually a downward slope. That's not what we want. We want to get a, that has to be even further. So we've got the upward slope there. Actually, I don't think that's going to be what we need. No, that's okay. Yes, this one here. I'm just going to go and clean that one out. Just going to make it so that it's actually nice and clean. All right, that's all fine. Good. All right, let's just go and create a couple more workshops. So we need we need to make blocks, but we also need to make mechanisms. So we're just going to go into workshops. In this case, we need a mechanics workshop. So I can throw it in there. And from here, I can just make the blocks anyway. Add new task, make rock blocks. Just get a few of those done. Now we do have rope that we've brought along with us. We'll add new task. We'll make mechanisms. Okay, that's done. Once we've got the mechanisms done, we can then make the well. So we're making the blocks here now. These are just temporary at this point in time. Now we've got, I'll just let them sort of do what they're doing. Yep, so we've got one chalk mechanism there. That should be enough. And we'll have blocks in through here, chalk blocks. Let's go and make our well. So again, machines, well, there we go. We've got chalk blocks, applewood buckets, pigtail rope, and a chalk mechanism. And so that will now be that portion of it. We do another hatch cover as well. A new task, we'll make a hatch cover there. Pretty need a few of these actually. Let's just go and make another one. And we'll just go back down here again and just sort of see what we've done. That's where it is. You've got limited wood in here, but it's probably enough for us to get started. So let's go and start to build the security for this particular zone. This is, where do we want to have our bottom layer? That one opens up there. It's really hard to visualize. Sometimes it's a good idea to look at this in the mini map, but I'm trying to find where I can get a one layer block. So it goes up there to this layer through here and then continues on around. But this one sort of comes back down. This is only one layer. There's nothing above it. You can see that I can actually block that off. I can actually put a wooden block there and actually block that one off. I'm going to be wanting to have more control though, probably than that. I can put 2 blocks there, but it becomes a little bit more tricky doing that. These are all access points. Actually, this isn't bad. That doesn't go anywhere. That's actually good. That doesn't go anywhere. That one does. So I can actually block this off. That would actually work fairly well. Let's just go and start to do a few of these. We're going to try to block off an area that we can make use of. So with the wall, I'm just going to go and place a wall there. Just make it out of whatever's the closest wood that we actually have. Tower cap logs and there as well. So that will then give me like a 1 layer wall all the way through that point. We're looking for upward slopes. So in this case, down through here, it comes back up again. And this then comes back up again as well. So we've got the upward slope there that then actually hits this particular zone. Hang on, where is it? Got that one coming back up. At the moment, we don't have to, like this one here, we're going to look for an area that's just one, that's too tall there. So it makes it a little bit too difficult to block that off. It's 2 there as well, so that's not really ideal there either. Which way should we do this? It's always hard trying to find the best way to completely block off these areas. This is pretty clean all the way through here. That's all been blocked off already until we get to this point here. Well, we can block it off here. I think this will be the key to securing this. Everything that's below there actually doesn't get through that bit there once we've blocked that off. So looking at this area through here, this is the area that we need to then work on. So let's go and get a tower cap log block there. Got one there as well. to build these things, we need to be able to we can't do it from the side. We need to be sort of able to come in through the side through here. Again, just block it off there. Two more. Now this is double layer, which makes it a little bit more tricky actually. I wonder if I'm better off getting more this way. I think I'll do this and not do this one here. So we'll just keep on securing this particular zone. When I've got like something that can't be accessed directly other than coming around here, I'll leave it like that for now. But that could be a point that doesn't get built when we sort of finish all this off. And then we've still got the two layers there. Get those through that side. Get those established. So we've got that actually there is actually okay. Once I block that off, that's actually secure there anyway, but these are open. So we do need to still come back through and actually sort of do other things from that side. So what we'll also then go and do is start to get ready. That's now all secure down through here. This is actually pretty cool, the way this one does work. We haven't secured this top bit yet. We've secured that one, but not this one here. So as it sort of comes back down into here, let's go and secure that. And that. So that one's caught, that one's caught there as well, that's good. That then secures all of that, which means we don't have to worry about the top bit. And then as we come back up the top here, that's all okay, that's all secure. That's all secure, and then we're sort of okay, then we're back out here again. So it's only really just now securing all this that becomes the next issue. Which means we're going to need to dig our way up, and that's also a double there. Yep, so we will have to go and just establish another zone there. This is probably where we want to come in, I think. Just build a stairwell in here. So a little stairwell that goes up that way. Dig across this side. Dig across that side, and then we'll just start to sort of slowly make our way around. We have a goodie hut in here. This will be something will be under here. We don't know what it is. Like when you see these little 3x3s, it means that there's something that's sort of been placed there. So let's just go and have a dig down there as well. Just dig a channel into that and just see what we find. All right, let's unpause, see what actually happens here. Come back to these in just a minute. Actually, that's all going up. So they'll be building this one. This, at least you can see that they're now sleeping. So Klingzog's asleep there. Now, Zaradin, where was that? Oh, okay, that's fine. We had a so this one comes back down into this zone. We do actually have some kaolinite, which is like clay. Now that there is a what's the flooring? It doesn't look like it's an open area. Let's just dig that one as a channel. Yeah, cool. I thought I did this. What we need to do here is make sure that we've got a channel all the way down through here. And so we'll just go and get this one done as well. Let's just go and watch what actually happens here. And what we could do is also just bring our animals across into that big zone. So the guys are all outside doing their thing. This ultimately is where we're going to be coming through. Now, where was that other 3x3? Here. We haven't done that one yet. So something is in there. We don't know what that is at this point in time. Actually, we can't get up there. All right, what we might do is might just build a little way out just so we can sort of get to that point there as well. So we've dug this one out, and then what we need to do is to put down flooring to be able to then get to the top area of this one. And we need to put flooring in through here as well. So there's a lot of work we have to do to get this thing going. Just make it out of any old thing at this stage. Can't get to that one just yet. So we'll slowly make our way around this area just so we can actually then go and put all of the wall into place. We'll just wait for that to actually happen. And we'll do the next level of wall. I think I might make this into the... well, we can make this into all sorts of different things, farming as well as other things as well. So I'm going to go and place the animals down in here. So go to another pen or pasture. Accept, and we're just going to go and particularly these guys here just so they can do grazing. But I think I'll go and place everyone down this way. Then I can just go back up to the fortress and the top area there and just go and get rid of that zone. And remove it. Right, that's done. Just make sure that people aren't waiting outside for anything. Okay, this is now all thawed, which is good. We've still got stuff in the in here as well. So we'll actually just go and make the this other zone bigger. That's why I dug out the other sides. All right, they should then be able to bring everything else back in. This is still being built. Yep, so Exik is actually going to make that. Now that we've, if we dug out everything in here, we have, by the looks, we now have this grate as well. So what we need to do here is to open up, there's a couple of things we need to do actually. We need to go and dig that out there. And we do now need to go and dig this channel out because this is now going to be safe. Actually, I don't need to do that one. I can just ditch that one there. Here they come. Cool. So the water is now flowing, when we go back down into here, the water's now flowing through that diagonal, in through the grate, and then back into here, and filling up the stairs as well. So we can no longer really get access to the stairs. In this zone in through here, though, we still have access out to this point here, and we need to block this off to sort of stop flying creatures from getting in as well. So I'm just going to go, we can still walk there, and it's not going to go beyond that level. So we're just going to go back into constructions, walls, and we'll throw a claystone wall in there, that'll do. And so that will then block off and secure that. So we're relatively secure with this, unless something can smash that open. And then we've got the, that way we've got a water source. It goes all the way up to here. They'll build this well. And then as long as they've got like sort of reasonable depth, which they will have, that's now done. So that's, the well is now operational, and we'll start to now see them washing themselves and doing things in this particular little room. We're pretty good for any invasion that happens above, but not for below. Oh, it looks like we may have actually found the zone down below. Did we get to that point? No, we haven't done this yet. Let's watch this fun thing happen. They're building these walkways. Now, quite often you'll find stuff in here. We've got rough rubies. What you're hoping to find in here is actually magma. If we had found magma in that location, we could have then built ourselves a little forge, for example. So we could have made use of the magma that was in there, but there was no magma in that one. These walls are all being placed, so we've now got security back through that side. Let's just go back down and have another quick look and see if there's anything else we need to worry about. They're now all secure, so there's no other way through there. That's secure, that's secure. So this is all now done. The one thing we have to be a little bit careful of is if we end up with any dwarves on the outside. But we'll find it out when we block it off, because we'll get a warning if that's the case, because of DF hack. All right, let's go back up. So at the moment, this is still openings that we can actually then have. These can now all be worked on a little bit. So we're going to have flooring in through this other side. We can now dig our way through here. In fact, I can sort of dig my way across that way, actually. That's all good. And I'll just go in and go back to constructions, walls. Oh, we can't do that one because we don't have space there yet. Okay, we'll just go back to walls again. So I'm just going to do this back wall because we can actually access that one. And we're going to need to get like another piece of flooring out as well. So let's just put a piece of flooring out in through here, just so we can cut across to the other side. Constructions, floor. That'll do. This is all lignite, which we can then ultimately use as well. So we build that piece of wall. That then makes it easy for us to then go and make the other pieces of wall. Here's a giant bat, which is not really going to be a problem. So it shouldn't really be an issue if we just go back across and have a look at others. We've got badger boars. These are upstairs. They're not really an issue for us either. The giant bat is really the only thing that we have to be. It's just an animal. That's all it really is. Let's just go back downstairs again. Just sort of concern ourselves with this zone as we sort of keep on working this area. All right, we can now get the get across to this other side. Digging our way over. And we just need to get flooring down this way. This is... They couldn't get that one done because there's a piece of wood that was in the way. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to leave that one off because it does give me access to the outside. So let's just leave that as a gateway until we actually have it finished. We can see there that it wasn't actually done. Everything else was sort of done. At the moment, things can still crawl over these walls. So we need to get up to the ceiling with what we're doing here. Little bats are flying around. Making a piece of floor there. We can cut through this one now and put more of the more of what we need to do in here as well. So walls. Just doing it bit by bit as we secure these. And now we can just put this other one in the corner here. And we can then cut across to here with flooring. I see how this one, they can't place that one because they can't do the diagonal there. So this one is actually, it's inactive. I think even if I make it a top priority, it still won't be able to be done. Yeah, so what I need to do here is actually go and either dig out that one, which is probably the easiest way to do this actually, rather than putting the flooring down. Let's just go and do that. And then this one should now be taken up. There we go. Zaradin is now going to be putting that one in there. And we now have access to this one, and we need to now break our way across to here. And we can then just go up this side here, I think, and make a stairway up at this location. So we get that established as well. Now, across this other side, I'm just going to go back across and put the whole lot down. So we'll just go back to walls from there to there. We'll just go make them all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to suspend the construction of all of these. So I'm just going to go and, actually one thing we can, no, I will actually do this bit by bit. So we'll just go and suspend. And then as we do each edge one, we can then unlock the next one. So even though he did construct it there, but they need an actual floor there to be able to access it. Oh, this is interesting. Giant bat has attacked us. So Gizarone is now fighting. So, and luckily, Gizarone is actually equipped for this. So the giant bat flew in through here, I think it was, because all of that is, the rest of that is blocked off. So let's have a look at this fight. We will just go and block this bit off. I think that's where it came in. It is hard to make sure that you've got everything. But let's just see what actually happens through here. So they've picked on the right person. So if we go back into the actual fight itself, if we go back to Gizarone, and so the giant bat has come back in, it is terrified, but it did actually pick the fight. So let's go now and just see what actually happened here. So if we go and click on this one through here, the combat history. So giant bat misses the peasant. This is Gizarone. Strikes the peasant, but the shot is blocked with the copper shield. Giant bat attacks the peasant, but she jumps away. So you can see it charging. The peasant jumps away. The peasant actually ended up jumping off. This is Gizarone. Ended up jumping off the side, but the Gizarone is not attacking back yet. So what we need to do is we need to tell Gizarone, yes, you are allowed to go and attack. In fact, please do. And so in this case, the giant bat is now going to have to be targeted for killing. So we can go back to our squads, select the group, and then just go back in and go to kill that bat. Here we go, confirm the kill. So kill the giant bat is going to be what these guys need to do. If we have a look at Gizarone and through this other side, so it's terrified while in conflict. Now they'll get better and better over time. So we've got, so this is actually what actually ended up happening through here. Giant bat misses the peasant. Peasant attacks the giant bat attacks the peasant but jumps away. So it keeps on saying I must withdraw, but it won't after this. It charges, and in the end she jumped off the wall. Giant bat strikes the peasant but is blocked with the copper shield. It must withdraw. Charges the peasant, jumps away again. Must withdraw. And again, just keeps on sort of jumping away at this point in time. Now I can turn this one on so we can unpause the game and just watch what actually happens in the fight. So let's go and do that. So let's just go across. So again, attacks but jumps away. The spear dwarf stabs a giant bat in the right upper arm with a copper spear, tearing the fat. So that's the first of the attacks going in. Attacks the spear dwarf, it jumps away. Attacks the giant bat, but she jumps away this time. So the bat, there's a few there where the spear dwarf is now fighting back. The giant bat misses the spear dwarf. This is just an animal that turned rogue a little bit. Spear dwarf attacks the giant bat, but she jumps away again and misses the spear dwarf. Attacks. It'll take a little while before we start to get. There we go. Bruising the muscle, tearing this. So the spear dwarf just scratches in its left arm, the left lower arm, tearing the fat and bruising the muscle again. Attacks the giant bat, but she jumps away. Let's see whether there's anything happening. Here we go. So the spear dwarf stabs a giant bat in the upper body with a copper spear, tearing the muscle and tearing the left lung. The giant bat is now having trouble breathing. The degree of detail in this is really, really cool. And we can start to now sort of see different things happening. So we can see that there's now blood. So this is giant bat blood everywhere where the fight has taken place. And then we've got the giant bat itself is winded and bleeding. So it's now afraid after experiencing trauma. Let's have a look at Gizerone. The mission is to kill the giant bat. That's what we have to then go and do. The other military will be rushing from the fortress somewhere else to come and join in, if they can get there in time. So anyway, let's keep on going back through. We've got the, if we have a look at health again, no wounding, no treatment, no history, no description. So very weak and very slow to heal, which is not good. So anyway, Gizerone will just keep on sort of doing this particular fight. Now it looks like there's, that's just, I think there's some weed underneath there as well. Well, let's just keep on going back through into Gizerone and have another look. Keep that one going. Giant bat misses, attacks the giant bat, but she jumps away again. The Gizerone says, in the midst of this conflict, I feel no terror. Good. Spear dwarf stabs the giant bat in the right upper arm with her copper spear, tearing the muscle. Oh, hang on, the many nerves have been severed. This is going to then stop it from being able to fly, I guess. Giant bat strikes the spear dwarf, but it's blocked. Stabs the giant bat in the right lower arm, tearing the muscle and bruising the bone. A sensory nerve has been severed. So we're doing a lot of damage here now. This really is a one-sided fight. Stabs the giant bat in the lower body and tearing the stomach. That can actually leave bits and pieces if we just go back out and have a look. We're now over here, so we've sort of moved from there over to this side of the side. They're back on top of each other. Gizerone is actually on the ground. Like we can sort of see down through there. Anyway, we'll just keep on going with this one here. Just see what actually happens. Strikes, yeah, so they've blocked. The spear dwarf did fall over. Not sure when. But anyway, stands back up again. Misses the giant bat. Attacks. Yep, so again, stabs the giant bat in the upper body. Okay, so the spear dwarf bashes the giant bat in the right body with the copper spear, fracturing the bone. So it really is one-sided. What we might do is just unpause and watch what actually happens through here. Lots of giant bat blood now is around, and so the bat is now in the sort of like the last throes of its life. Thanks for the gifted sub there, Began. Very, very much appreciated. And that's a sub to Gizerone. Let's keep it going. So we're now just following it through. So it's just going to keep on fighting. And is that now a mangled corpse? Now we're pretty sure this is not a reanimating biome, so we don't have to worry about these corpses. There's nothing for us to really concern ourselves with, so we'll just leave that can just rot away there. It really won't be a problem. So that's now been done. So the actual group have now finished off what they were up to, so we'll just go back in and hide that one away. Gizerone is healthy. Health-wise, there's no problems there. No, not even didn't even get hit once. That was the right unit to be attacked by the bat, to be honest. So let's go back up. We're still trying to get this one done. We're still trying to get that one now. It was resume construction. That was actually the one that was on their way. This is when Gizerone was actually coming in through here to construct this. In the meantime, Began, I think, has now built this one. Let's go and build ourselves a floor this way. Where are we? I think I can do it from there. No, there's no access. We do need it coming off the diagonal, off that one through there. So we'll go and build it this way. Comes Gizerone again. Then we just resume construction of these. Now we need to, underneath there, we've got that one still blocked off. I'm going to keep that one blocked off for a little while because I think we're going to access certain things that are actually outside. And really the only one I have to block off, I've got that one blocked off there, but there's no way for them to get through there. It really is only through here now. So I need to block that diagonal. So we will actually come through and, well, I do need to now get this one done. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone outside. Let's just go and resume this one. Just see if we get any messages. If there was anyone locked outside, that would then be shown to us. So the bottom floor is now secure. We've still got this giant bat mangled corpse. That's now all secure all the way through here. We're still building that one, and we now need to go and build this one and this one here. So just go back into constructions, walls, tower cap logs, and just go 2 of them there, but I'm just going to suspend this construction. And now we can turn this one back on again. Resume construction there. So it's a bit of micromanagement with this one. That's now secure. There's nothing above it. It goes down. That's secure through there. It doesn't matter what else is down below there. That's all. Nothing else can break up into there. Back up this way. We just really got that last little bit to go, and then that's actually all done. So that's all fine. Gizerone is just working on this little area. Now, in the meanwhile, we will come back to this, but what else do we need to do? Just to make doubly sure that there's no way through anywhere else. Yeah, this one they can go down into there and keep on going down this way, but then that gets blocked off there. There's no other way through. Like when we have a look at this one until we get up to that zone there. So that is secure. There's no other way through. Yep, that's good. So we've sort of now created like a bit of a fortress underground as well. That gets us established. What we're going to now also need to do is to get some farming underway. Now there's no real big secure areas. We haven't got like a wood growing area or anything like that. Yeah, not really. There is a little bit there, but not really much. There's nothing else there for farming. This is outside of our area. So we'll go and build some farms in here. Oh, hang on. Down. Oh, and this is then blocked off. This is actually fine as well. So we'll create some... There's some cave wheat there. We could actually go and harvest some of this stuff. We might as well get the what we can from here while it's spring. Get the plump helmets. there's a bit in here we can actually go and grab. There's some pigtails as well. It's nothing much. All right, well, let's get started with at least one farm. So we'll just go back into construction. This will be under workshops. This will be under farming. And we need to then make a farm plot. I'll start here, make it into a little 2x3. Just see how we're going up through here. Still coming through, lugging the wood. Oh, I've got a human crossbowman is visiting. That's okay. That's all fine as well. That one as well. Resume construction. The goblins can ride giant bats as well, so that's why we have to make sure that we've got different things. Now this petition, I'm going to deny that. I don't really want anyone else just in here just yet. Now with DF hack, I don't have to even worry about doing all this stuff. It'll just automatically do the planting for me. I don't have to tell it what to do. This was to be the last little security area that we have to concern ourselves with. There we go, free zero, and we'll just go and grab another piece. And that's done. All right, at this point we now have a secure underground. We have a functioning well as well from the top, so in this level. So the well is actually will work. It goes down into a water source down through this other side. I mean, we do have some things floating around in there, but the water is 7 of 7, so that's going to be fine. What I should have done is made it a little bit deeper, actually. So I should have done that. Anyway, too late now. So I've got some beds there. It's not a bedroom as such. That's all been done. Just looking at the time. Probably have run out of time for today. So we didn't get attacked today, which is fine, I guess. I was sort of hoping that we would, but we don't have any more dwarves. It's still spring. It's just in late spring. So that's all good. Everything else is ready to go. We do have some blocks in there as well. We're going to be wanting to actually go, and what we might just do before we actually come back out here is we've got our entrance there. All we've got left is a piece of rope, some logs. I might pull this apart now, remove this building, and so they'll pull this apart, and then we can start to also just try to get some wood. Actually, we've got enough wood downstairs at this stage. So that's all good. Let's go and get the top area of the fortress now ready. So as we come back down into here, this will be the main zone up. So let's go and unlock a bit of this. So we'll go from blueprint up, and we'll just go and do this little bit, not to the top level, but close to the top level. So it goes all the way up to there. I'll block it off there, I think. So let's go and let them dig this way. Being saying cheers as Dwarf Fortress is the best, even when we don't all die. Well, let's just see what we end up getting here. Johnnyopoulos has redeemed a custom reward. So tomorrow we're going to be continuing on, and so we should have more dwarves arrive tomorrow. Now, these will come up until they hit damp stone, and we're now digging up. This is much more difficult than digging down. So we've come up through the tetrahedrite layer, we've got the smoky quartz, we've got the chalk. We're going to come up, there's the bauxite layer. If I just go and grab this, we can then start to see the dampness when we do hit damp. There we go. We're hitting damp here. This is interesting. So we've now hit this point here where we now see that there's going to be aquifer up through this other side, and we can now see the aquifer is in through this other side and through here. We don't know exactly what it's going to be. It's probably going to be the sandstone again. And they're still trying to dig that one. They're still actually digging through this one as well. We now need to make sure this is sandstone, so we just need to go and smooth this out. Those two and that one there. It's only the double one that's the aquifer. So this is just damp walls, and we've actually now hit this area as well. So we just need to go and smooth out that. This is doing a fairly good job here. I don't know if it'll remember that. See how it's now dropped this one here. This is actually, this will be good to see. What I'll do is I need to get rid of that one. If I don't do anything with that one, it's going to continue being an aquifer. Now what's going to happen is these are going to start to pull water at the bottom of here. Eventually there'll be water sort of dripping down that way. We may need to build all the way up to the top because we're going to have aquifer above us. So we've now lost sight of building the staircase up. Because of the damp stone in through here. There should be some message. Oh no, it's not actually giving us the warning. So if a quick can see. Yeah, damp D goes off. Yeah, that's okay. But we need to redig these out as stairs. Now, if I go and start to, this is actually a bit of a trap for new players, is if I go back to the stairwell here, and start to dig, I want a stairwell there. If I start to dig from that point up and then go back up this way again, I'm going to ultimately end up with a top stair there and a bottom stair there, which is not what I want. I need to continue it on from the up-down stairs. So that's an up-down stair. We're going to have a look down the bottom here to see what's what. This is an up stair. That's a down stair. So there's 3 statuses of stairs. And so what we need to do is this one here doesn't break. The best way of imagining this, and I did a video on this years and years ago, which apparently really helped people just to visualize what's going on. Every tile has got a wall area, like a top area, and a floor area underneath it. The floor area is not the tile below it. The floor area is literally on the same tile that we see. So it's got 2 different layers. So when you've got a stair, the stair has to either start on the floor and go up, or start on an open area and go down, or go through both. So the up-down stairs like these go through both the floor and the area above and the wall. So floor and wall is where it goes through both of them. The bottom layer only goes, the floor is still solid underneath it, but then goes up. If we don't, we've got to start our floor, when we do stairs, like what I've done into here, it's a bit hard to see it there, but that's actually an up stair. It's not an up-down stair. I need that to be an up-down stair, and I need this one to be, if I left this one here, what that would then go and do, it would then go and actually, it would actually get rid of the wall area. So it would be just an open area, and this can make it difficult. You need to make sure you can see the up-down stairs. And so in this case, I'm going to go down below. So when I get the stairs, I'm going to start there, go up past where I want to go, and then all the way up sort of beyond where I want to get to. So I'm just going to go and do that one. I will actually ultimately just go and colour that one back again. But that way I know I've got up-down stairs the whole way. We're going to have other troubles because of the aquifer stuff in through this other side as well. At this stage, they're actually allocated that they can then go and build. Let's just keep it going. Now, did we do that one? Yeah, we did. That's fine. So we've got the up-down stair there, and again, this is where the damp designation is now stopping things from happening, and we should have, yeah, we've got digging designation cancelled, damp stone located, so this is actually aquifer. So we've got these in through here now. They've also now lost their ability to be up-down stairs. So we need to just keep on punching our way through. So I'm just going to keep on going all the way up to this layer up the top here. And we'll just have to sort of make the best we can of it. So let's go and do the actual stairs again, just to sort of make sure that we've got them correctly. So we'll go to stairs, but this case I'm going to go to my So damp dig is going to be this one here. I'm just going to go to on. So that way, when I now go back down and start my stair on existing stairs here, I can then go all the way up to that layer there. And I've now got the little designation to just keep on digging through the dampness. So that's fine where we are there. And we just want to go to that top layer and just make sure that it is set to not be, like we don't want, unless it's aquifer. Oh, hang on, that's going to need to be done this way. There we are. So we'll just make sure that that's actually designated that way. So as we dig it up, we just need to get our smoothing ready, unless we run into peat. And we'll just keep on these coming this way. That's fine where that is. You can see there we've actually gone through a layer where there's no aquifer, and then we've got another aquifer layer here. There we go. It looks like it's the end of spring. Yep, it's now early summer. Looks like that soot didn't really do any permanent damage. Just made you nauseous and choke on it. Saving the detail. It's now summer. In this case, I'll just keep on doing these and doing those. Okay, that one's now been done. This is silty clay, and this is dry, so this is actually fine. And we've then got peat walls in through there. Again, it's not actually aquifer. And then we're up to this other side as well. So these all need to be fixed up. These haven't been smoothed out properly yet. That one has to be dug out as well. There we are, that's been dug. There's being smoothed. We can see mist as the water dribbles down the staircase, and we'll probably end up with some water at the bottom of the staircase. There we are. So a little bit of water at the bottom now, just dripping down from that, from where that one actually was. So this will all be smoothed out. That'll be smoothed out. And this will be the main staircase through the fortress. So there's more water dripping down the stairs. That one's fine. These are all being smoothed. That's all been smoothed. That's not aquifer, and then we're sort of ready for the first few layers above. I don't want to go too far because this is again going to be another point of weakness for the besieging units when they do come. No aquifer is now available to sort of be able to hit us. It's only in the corners that we actually have the aquifer there at this point in time. Everything's looking good there, so and we can see now there's water dripping on the walls, so this is now making things a bit damp. But this is this layer here really is probably our most useful. Like as we sort of come up, we've got a few layers above that we could make use of things, but not much. Really, the first clean layer is probably this one here, or even this one here. You know, it's a few layers above where we are. Now I've got a few layers there. All right, well, let's actually make this main staircase will ultimately be where we do most of our work. We'll keep the hospital, we'll make a little bit of a hospital zone, I think, over this other side. Or maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll start to sort of set up what we're going to do in the actual fortress itself. We're going to need to get a workshop layer further, maybe even down around here somewhere. We've got the start of something going on through here, but this is really just make sure there's nothing else above. Where we are, it's all now been pulled apart. It's just now wood that's really up the top here. So there's nothing much of value up that side. It's the only entrance into the fortress from above at this stage. We don't have any entrances from below. We've now blocked all them off. So we're pretty secure. I think we'll actually just leave it here. And I'm sorry if if you've had questions and I've missed them. There was a lot of comments. Yeah, just seeing if there's anything else that if people have actually asked me any questions. Just do an @DasTactic if in future if you do want to ask me anything. All right, so let's go across. Actually, there we go. So Rando saying, I think one of, if not the first videos of his I watched was the Dwarf Fortress wall floor explanation. Yeah, it helped a lot of people just visualize what was happening with stairs. There's a few little things. Now, the people who redeemed that don't have dwarves, don't worry. Tomorrow, I'm sure that you'll end up with a influx of dwarves coming, I would imagine. Actually, one thing we should do is just find out our civilization before we go. Just make sure we haven't screwed up here. Yeah, the blue is our civilization there. And the red is the ones that we're at war with. So we've got the goblins back over this other side. And, yeah, so we're sort of back up the top here. That's us right there. All right, well, we've got some allies in through here now as well. So we've got an alliance with the humans. And with this mountain halls in through here as well. So these dwarves are also now allies. Okay, well, we'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll be around tomorrow to continue on, and we'll see